Oh, well, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Holy guacamole, it's been so long. It's been so long. Hope everybody's doing amazing. Good to see everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you. Give me a minute here. I'm just setting up a few things in the background, getting all this ready. Da 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 da. Let's fix this. Where's my. Oh, there it is. I want to fix this. Get rid of that. Okay. Let's see. So, hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's having an amazing, amazing, amazing weekend. Or you had an amazing weekend. It's Monday. It's Monday. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I think I have everything set. It's been a long time since your girl has been live, okay? So, bear with me. Bear with me, friends. What's cracking, homies? What's cracking? Who's here? Who do we got here? Luna Rose. Hello, Just Jackie. Good to see you, darling. Taylor. Hello. Who else is here? Oh shit, Willie's here. What up, Willie? Truth Nation. Diane Draper. Darling, I hope you're still here. Good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. Christina, hello. Shane, hello. We'll give it a few minutes. We'll let some notifications click in. I've missed you too, Just Jackie. I've been really busy, friends. Life is life. Life is lifing. Your girl is always busy. I always got something going on. Work has been really, really good and really, really busy. And, that's what I've been doing. Yes, Jackie, you are the only green person here. Yeah, there are no mods. Okay, friends, we have no mods here. If you want to become a member, awesome, become a member. If you don't, I don't care. I'll be completely honest. There are no mods here. I am not monetized. I make $0 off of YouTube. So it is what it is. There's not going to be anybody that can come around saying that, like, oh my God, you just do this because you're trying to profit off the deaths of people. No, actually, I don't make anything. So there's that. Um, is it Redman? I'm just going to call you Redman because I don't know how to say your first one. What up? Welcome on in. Yeah, Willie knows. Willie knows. I don't make shit here. Most of us don't. And even if I did, I'm not profiting off the death of anybody. I do have a goal attached in the chat, okay? And if you want to help me hit my goal, cool. What we're going to do when I do hit the goal, if I hit it, I'm going Halloween hunting anyway this weekend coming up. We're going to hit Home Goods, we're going to hit Marshalls, we're going to hit TJ Maxx. Those of you who are not new here, you know that I love shopping so much. And I especially love it when it's fall and it's Halloween time. So that's what we'll be doing if we hit a goal here today. We'll be shopping this weekend, friends. So yeah, thumbs it up, thumbs it down, follow your heart, not your frown. I should start out by saying, Natasha, hello. Good to see you. Welcome on in. Just Jackie, I appreciate you being green, honey. I only have one mod. That mod is my Mercy Cat, my queen. She's not here. She probably won't be because there's a big time difference for her and I right now, so that's fine. She'll probably catch it on the replay. Frosty Phantom, good to see you. Haven't seen you in so long. Can you guys hear me okay? I feel like Willie would definitely be telling me if my audio's fucked up, but I think I have everything set to where it needs to be. Oh, and the cat's gonna start meowing because I shut my door. Hang on one second. Let me go let her in. Come on. Oh, come on, you beautiful kitty. All right. Okay, so let me get this out of the way, okay? As always, friends, I know it's been a long time since I've been live. Never, ever, ever listen to anything I say, okay? I am no one. I don't know shit. Okay? Exercise your own due diligence, read the docs yourselves, come to your own conclusions. What we're going to do here today is do a little peeky poo review of the latest interview with Mr. Goncalves that he did with the drunk turkey over there. Um, full disclosure, I am not subscribed at all to the drunk chicken, okay? I'm only sharing this video for the purposes of reviewing it, giving my own commentary, and more than likely, the only thing I'm going to be doing here is snarking the absolute fuck out of Mr. Goncalves, because, that's what I do. I'm snarky. It is what it is. So, if you don't like that, if you think that me snarking on Mr. Goncalves and, basically kind of dispelling some of the things that he says here, to me, I'll give you my personal opinion. The dude is completely fucking unhinged. And you know what? That's okay. It's his right. He can be unhinged. I think that this is the most unhinged that I've ever seen out of him in the last almost 4 years that this man's been going around on his media tour, profiting off the deaths of these kids, because that's exactly what he's been doing. So I find it kind of ironic that he has the nerve to talk about anybody else profiting when he himself is the one who has the most profit off of the deaths of these kids. These young adults will say. So, it is what it is. If you don't like snark, if you don't like somebody calling him out, then you probably should click off. I would say click right off, okay? That's all that I can tell you. But if you are, if you don't mind the snark, if you don't mind me giving my honest, full disclosure opinion of some of the things that fall out of his face during this interview, then please hang around, okay? Stick around. Should be fun. But we'll see. Design Rhythm. Good to see you. You were losing your shit in my chat yesterday about me being late, huh? 1 minute late. Now she's 2 minutes late. Damn, Design, okay? I have a fucking life. And it's not YouTube. I just want to make that clear. So for anybody who's new here, yes, I have a channel. No, it is not my life. No, it is not how I pay my bills. Therefore, it does not take precedent, okay? Design Rhythm, I am so sorry that you had to wait for me yesterday, 1 or 2 minutes, and I didn't show up and I moved it to today, okay? Hopefully you're better. Hopefully you're fine, okay? We're here today. Now, I love you, Design Rhythm. You've been around for a while. Holy shit. Okay, it's okay, but I was fucking late and had to reschedule. All right? You were being sarcastic? Yeah, I know. Well, good, good. Then good. You should be able to handle my sarcasm too. I was looking at my chat and I'm like, is this person serious? By the way, Design, are you male or female? It doesn't matter, but I don't want to call you a girl if you're not a girl, you know what I mean? But I was looking at my chat and I'm like, damn, this bitch is fucking pressed and stressed. Okay? 2 minutes late is unacceptable. Yes, Design Rhythm. I was early today for you, darling. I was early today. I was like, damn, this bitch is pressed, stressed. All because I'm late. But yeah, I had to switch it to today, okay? Something came up. And like I said, YouTube doesn't take precedent over my real life. It never will, and it never has. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Nelly, what is the problem, beautiful kitty? I let you in. You are fine. You're a man, Design Rhythm. All right, what up, homie? Good, at least I know. I prefer to know anyway, he, she, they, whoever the fuck I'm dealing with. All right, so anyways, let me fix this real quick. Of course, the cat, I'm telling you, it's only when I go live that she starts meowing her face off, all right? And I don't understand why. Let me do something here real quick. Da-da-da-da-da. Sorry, friends, give me 1 second. Let me fix this. And we'll get it cracking, okay? Don't want to keep you here too long. I don't want to be here too long. It is kind of a long interview, so I'm probably going to put it at 1.5 speed, maybe, as long as everybody's okay with that. And we'll get it cracking, okay? Let's fix that. We're going to fix that. Okay. So, yeah, I do have up at the top of the screen here my little ticker going because, as I said, I am not monetized. I do not make money here. If you want to donate a little something something to the Starbeast Fund, feel free. If you don't, that's fine too. Jazz King, my king. So good to see you. Les Awake, hello. Leslie and Billy, hello. Troyster, what up, Troyster? Welcome on in. Christina, hello. Yes, hit the like button, everybody. Thumbs it up, thumbs it down. Follow your heart, not your frown. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's get it crack-a-lackin'. Let me let the cat back out. Jesus. My goodness. Lucy, for fuck's sake, Fitziana, darling. Where have you been? Hey, you know the phone works both ways, right? You can message me whenever you want. I know I've been MIA. Work has been really busy, plus we're getting ready to go back to school. And I also signed myself up for a 40-hour course here at the local university it's a course in blood stain analysis, and I am like super stoked about it. I start next month, okay? And I cannot fucking wait, okay? Because you guys know, if you're not new here, you know. Don't ask me why. It's something I've always been intrigued with since I was like 10 years old, is blood. And I don't mean other people's blood. I just mean the blood in general. Like, even, how can I explain this? Like, put it this way, I always thought it was so cool to go get your blood taken at the doctor. And like, I used to watch them, you know, how they did it and all of that good stuff. But I just signed myself up for a 40-hour course in blood stain analysis here at the university that's like 5 minutes from my house. We get to do 2 days a week in the building because we're going to be literally splattering, you know, fake blood all around and measuring it. We're learning stringing, 3D stringing, actual stringing. Ah, I can't wait. You know, all that good stuff, that fun stuff that I love so much. Okay, Nellie, get out. Beat it, kitty. Go. Figure yourself out, in or out, in or out. The door's open for you. All right. So yeah, I'm super stoked about it, friends. Super stoked about it. Not gonna lie. We start next month, so it's a few days online and then a couple days a week actually in person, and I cannot wait. Taylor, would I be willing to go over the crime scene photos after my class? Well, I've already gone over all the crime scene photos, honey, and I've done a video on the blood doesn't lie, even when people do. So, you know, that's why I'm so intrigued by it, because it doesn't matter what the humans say. It doesn't matter what the people say. The blood itself doesn't lie. And that's just a fact, scientifically. So, all right, let's get it cracking. I think I'm going to put this at 1.5 speed. Yes, Jazz King, you had back surgery, right? I really hope you're healing up, sir. I really do. I hope you're feeling better. And thank you so much for your little super sticker here. Genuinely appreciate it. Starby's fun. Brooms up. That's right. Yes, exactly, Lucy. I'm going to learn that shit. But Jazz King, seriously, I know you had back surgery, so I hope you're doing amazing. And I hope you're healing up really well. Um, Potamus and you have been touching more grass. I love that. Love that, Lucy. Getting grounded. You know, it's the best thing that you can do for your spiritual body is just stay grounded, stay in meditation, you know, and do the things that make you happy, right? Do the things that make you happy. That's what I plan on doing. It's what I've been doing. Hermit mode activated, okay? For a while now. And the only reason I'm here is because after I saw this interview, I said, holy shit, I'm going to have to go live because this man is completely fucking unhinged. The things that he says about Dr. Turvey here, holy guacamole. And I'm just like, dude, can you link your CV? Because Steve all of a sudden now apparently has, in the last few months, not only is he now a CSLI expert, but he happens to be a forensics expert. He's an IgG expert. You know, I'm just like, where'd you get your credentials? Holy shit. Can you link your CV? Like, can you give us your publications, Steve? And I'm not even saying that to be an asshole. I'm being dead serious. Give us your publications. Show us your certifications here for how you know more than Dr. Turvey. I'm going with the assumption here that basically any expert that worked for the defense, according to Steve, is a hack. And they're, in his words, a fucking retard, right? Those are his words, not mine. That's what he called Dr. Turvey. I guess Steve is cool with the defense's experts as long as those defense experts are kissing his fucking ass, is my guess. So that's just my takeaway from it. But to me, he seems quite desperate. He seems he's big mad. Big mad. Dr. Turvey is saying, actually, Maddie wasn't the target. It was Kaylee. Because Steve has spent the last 3.5 years perpetuating the false narrative that Maddie was the target. Just my opinion. I don't know shit, friends. Okay, let's get into this. Let's get it cracking. I'm going to put this at 1.5 speed. Playback speed, not normal. Let's fix that. Put it at 1.5, and let's go. Make sure you can hear.
Yes, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm Daniel, and today we have an excellent show for you guys. We have a special guest who will be joining us here in a moment. We're going to be talking about the Brian Kohberger case and the new stuff that's kind of come out. Him wanting to change his plea, etc., and so much more. So please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Without further.
It's so easy to become a podcaster from Riverside.
Here we go.
Yeah. Go to Riverside and open an account.
I mean, for the ads fans, hope you're okay with that. Okay. All right. Sorry. So sorry, friends. I was like, what's going on? Why did my mic mute? I didn't do that. Anyways, so what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by my fucking microphone here is that I find it very interesting that Mr. Goncalves does not have a problem with his son and his daughter-in-law begging the internet to pay for their wedding gifts, right? Not that long ago. And Mr. Goncalves didn't have a problem with him and his family begging the world to monetarily support them so that they could go stay in Airbnbs and be able to get to hearings and trial, etc., right? I find that very, very interesting that he will knock a defense expert saying that this defense expert charged tens of thousands of dollars to profit off the death of his daughter, right? Meanwhile, Not that long ago, just last year, him and his family were literally begging the world to send them money so they'd be able to afford to get to trial. They'd be able to afford to get to hearings. They needed people to pay for their Airbnbs and shit, right? And Olivia and Steve used their Facebook page to beg the internet to buy their wedding gifts and shit. It's kind of fucking wild to me, the hypocrisy. I don't know why that did that. I really don't know why my shit muted on me. But it is what it is. That's all that I was saying. So, anyways, that's probably Lucy texting me or Willie to say, yo, your mic cut out, bitch. Sorry. It is what it is. I know. I always have problems here, though, friends. It is what it is. If you are new here, sorry. Get used to it. There's always a glitch. I just find it to be interesting that these people have no problem literally begging the entirety of the fucking world who pays attention to this case to monetarily support them, while they also bash experts who get paid to do their job. Okay? It's kind of wild. RV, keep it rolling. Hello, if there's anybody else coming in and I miss you, so sorry, so sorry. Welcome on in. Thanks for being here. RV, keep it rolling. Who else? Miss Q, good to see you. Yeah, my mic was muted. It is what it is. It did it on its own, though. I didn't do that. Suzanne B, hello. Kaz Girl, hello. All right, let's get into this, and hopefully it doesn't give me any more problems. I'll try and keep an eye between both screens here, okay?
He's like, we need a third, and it just didn't happen before me. I got 3 daughters. Before my oldest, she didn't make it through delivery, and so I would have 4 daughters. But yeah, my mom cursed me. She told me, because I have nothing but brothers, you're gonna give me nothing but granddaughters, and she was right. She was right.
I told Christy we're having 5 boys, and I had the names picked out. She was not listening. So, we got 5, but we got 4 girls out of it, and it was actually probably the best thing for me. I would have been a savage and probably would have been arrested or something, gotten in a lot of trouble with 4 boys. It would have been bad. The house would have been run.
Interesting. He admits he'd be a fucking savage and probably getting arrested. Interesting. I don't doubt that, Steve. I don't doubt that you are a savage and you will likely be arrested. Just my opinion.
Really? There you go.
It was good to have girls.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And so, kind of transitioning. I know this is not an easy subject, but Brian Kohberger, he's wanting to change his plea. One, were you guys even notified about that, or did you find out kind of with the rest of us? And 2, what are your feelings about him wanting to change his plea?
We got some half-handed BS story. I've since learned from some authors out there that other family members had heard on Monday. On Friday, we heard we were seeing how we could safely get to the courtroom and make sure that we weren't going to be, because we already had our car vandalized. We had these Kohbergers that threw a bunch of disgusting stuff. So that was kind of his head off just so I could get to a courtroom.
My God. This man he's just obsessed with violence. And the more we get into this interview, I think it's going to become clear. Right off the rip, he's a savage. He'd probably be arrested. It's pretty interesting. He seems to absolutely just love violence. And, that's just kind of what I picked up from this interview here, is that he just, and it's funny to me because he says these pro-burgers, right? Pro-burgers. Now, I get it. There's a lot of people out there who think that Kohberger is innocent, and you're entitled to your opinion, right? There's a lot of people who think he's guilty. They're entitled to their opinion. I, too, was one of those people, was like, well, he took a fucking plea. He said he did it. Like, what do you want me to do, right? I guess I can only take him at his word. But now that he's filed for post-conviction relief, he is under the impression that he now knows all of this exculpatory information and evidence was withheld from him by his own attorneys and blah, blah, blah. You also got to take that at face value as well. I look at it as I can operate from both sides of my brain here and look at everything in full perspective and try and, glean something from it. But we'll see, right? Robert Bell, hello. James Moen, good to see you, sir. Good to See you. Yes, Lucy. Sorry, Suzanne B. The more he panics, the more violent he seems to be willing to be. Yeah, exactly. That's what it seems like too. This man absolutely loves violence, is what it seems like to me. That's just my opinion. Never listen to me. I don't know shit. You know what I mean? But that's what it seems like.
And so they were going to have police there and all that stuff. And then at the very end of that, they said, oh, and...
Also, where's the evidence that their car was vandalized by Kohbergers, right? Where's the evidence for this? This is something that I've been asking for the last couple of days now, because he claims that they have all of this evidence. His team of investigators and his private investigator found all of this evidence. Well, where is it? Did you give it to the state? Did you turn it over for discovery? Where the fuck is all this evidence you speak of, Steve? Just questions.
What would you guys think about a plea? And they just kind of slid it in like that. We had just a light conversation. And the Cornodals were also a part of the same. We had a family call. We did it at the exact same time, which they didn't like. You know, they tried to keep us all in separate little bubbles. But we were getting closer to going to war. You know, we're going to go in the courtroom. So we were all staying all on the same page, all staying together. We weren't letting them separate us, which you can't underestimate how much. I mean, when we go into the courtroom, they put us in separate rooms and stuff. So and it's nothing we wanted. We never asked for it. Like, we were literally texting each other, like, where are you guys at? And they'd be like, we're in this room. And they're like, well, why are we over here? And it was very, that's when we started putting things together. Like, they didn't want us to all be.
Not gonna lie. After the way that you've behaved, Steve, and if I was law enforcement and I was the people at the court, I would separate you from everybody else as well, because the rest of these families have not behaved the way you and yours did. Okay? The rest of these families at least have some tact, some class. You, sir, do not. So, not gonna lie, I'd fucking separate you too. You're an animal. You are an animal who needs to be separated. So I can see why they did that. Just my opinion.
United. They didn't want one force, one unified message to have to do it, because if that message wasn't what they wanted, it would look really bad for them. So they did this strategy of separating all the families. But in that particular case, we were on the same page, and we didn't have a lot of discussion. And then we've now since learned that a week earlier, his family was part of the negotiations for this plea deal, and now he's calling them witnesses. And how ridiculous that is, and how embarrassing Idaho must be. And the so-called leaders of our courtroom might be feeling a little stupid right now, because they played into this, master's degree criminology's back book. They played into it, and there was families that were saying, "Hey, you need to be careful with this guy. He's not your average criminal. This guy is probably dedicated a portion of his whole life for the moment in time right now, and we're just unfortunately we're unfortunately part of his master plan of destruction." Now, he probably obviously didn't want to get caught, but he also had plans when he did get caught. He probably knew eventually somebody's going to catch you, because we've seen some things that he's done that he learned back in college. He's doing the same behaviors that somebody else.
It sounds like Steve believes anybody with a master's or going for their PhD in criminology, they're a wannabe serial killer, right? So I guess to the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of you who have entered into the criminal justice system, if you have gone to get your bachelor's, your master's, anything to do with criminology, if you study any of this, right? You are a potential serial killer, and you're only doing it because you want to be a fucking serial killer. Which I find to be very interesting, considering he's now passing himself off as an expert in all of these fucking fields.
He's following BTK. He's doing some of the exact same behaviors that man did when he was caught. So that tells me he's had this in works for a long time, and we already know that he's wrote papers, and they talk about some of the things that he did in real life, like opening the door and not reopening the door, don't ever close the door. And he was trying to pretend like it's from the perspective of a police officer not trying to contaminate a crime scene. But you can flip that on its head and also put yourself in his position. How do I go in there as the murderer and not leave any evidence behind?
Yeah, no, I could, based on the information that was coming out and the evidence and hearing some things, it sounded very much like they were prepared for a person that was very prepared, or at least they were anticipating. They knew that the person that committed this crime was very prepared for it, and had gone through extreme lengths to prepare for committing the crime. And has it changed? I know the plea happened. Do you guys still, like, how can I put this? I know that there's a plea deal change. He's wanting to withdraw it. Has were y'all notified about that in a similar fashion as well, or is it?
No.
more openness since?
No, they didn't notify us. The media notified me. I've got a pretty decent relationship with. If you can help my family, then I will work with you, and I will be respectful. I'll do an interview. I'll do anything I can to stay informed. And if that means I have to do an interview with somebody at any particular time, I'll do that to keep these lines of communications open. So I heard pretty early, and I was able to let some of the other family know. But this individual that notified me also told some of the other families. So I think we all were pretty much aware. But again, that was way after his own family had already heard about.
That's wild. That's wild. It's more like they're pandering towards him and his family than the victims, and I find that to be insane. Not saying that it will, but if it does come down to a situation where he does go to trial again, do you know, is it going to be Bill Thompson again? Did he retire? Do you know any of those things?
Thompson was reelected in 24. He tried to retire beforehand. I personally believe he knew that Ashley wasn't ready for a case like this, so he stayed around one more term. I think it might be a 6-year term. I don't know for sure, but I know he's not going to do this is his last term, is at least what he said in the past. If something's changed between now and then, I doubt it, because the man is 73, 74 years old. He's into music. He deserves a retirement. He should go and do that. So I don't think he would be a part of it. I don't think so.
Gotcha. And if it were to change, how would that make you feel? Are you embracing change? Would you prefer it to be different?
Well, I was afraid that we would be dealing with this a year from now or 2 years. I told the courtroom and anyone that was willing to listen, don't make the families have to defend this case for the rest of our lives. You guys have one moment in time. Sit down with this guy, get some concessions. Unlike Turvey, who thinks you can force somebody to allocute, you can't in Idaho. It's ridiculous that he doesn't even know Idaho state law. But you can't force that, even though he said that. You can only get concessions. You can go sit down, turn on the recorder, have Ann sit next to him and say you are willing to give this information up because...
Steve, I think the point that Turvey was making here about Mr. Kohberger not allocuting is that the problem would be your prosecutor, right? So your prosecutor in Idaho attached the death penalty to this case, and then at the last minute decided to offer up a plea to the defendant and did not ask for elocution. That's the point I think Dr. Turvey is getting at. Now, again, I don't know shit, and I'm not going to put words in Dr. Turvey's mouth, but I think what Dr. Turvey is getting at is that in most cases, especially death penalty, where you have a defendant taking a plea, your prosecutor should have a fucking spine and say there's no way we're taking the death penalty off unless you allocute. Yes, you can't force the defendant in Idaho to allocute, but the prosecutor has very special ways that they can get a person to do that. I.e., guess what, bitch? We're not going to take that death penalty off the table unless you allocute. I think that's the point that he was getting at. But I love it that you talked so much shit about Brent Turvey in this interview. I do love it. Not going to lie. I do love it. Because that fucking boomerang is going to come back, sir. It sure is.
You understand that this is going to be used against you, and then have him lay it out. And he could have, there's strategies. You don't want to just get him to confess. You want him to confess to multiple things. Like, did you not break into the home? Because right now he's challenging, he didn't murder them. But if Thompson would have done his job, like we were begging him to, because we had Shannon, who's a much better a lawyer than...
Steve, Bill Thompson himself said at the sentencing that the state was not implying that Mr. Kohberger went there with the intent to kill people. The state, Bill Thompson, never alluded to what the intent was. But he did make it clear that the state doesn't believe it was Mr. Kohberger's intention to kill anybody. So it sounds like actually a lot of your anger should be directed at this spineless fucking prosecutor handling the case. But that's just my opinion.
Than Thompson ever could have been. He was like, hey, he may challenge this confession, but he can't challenge both at the same time. So get him to say a separate plea that he did the burglary, and then get him to say the murder as separate offenses. So then you have multiple problems for him if he goes down the road of this, I'm going to go and I'm going to challenge what I said. I'm going to say ineffective counsel. So there's strategies that have been done throughout our states, all 50 of them put together. There's a lot of strategies that's out there. And I just felt like we had some people who just were rushing, trying to get it through the door. They hated the media. They hated the attention. And this is why we are right now. This is why we're facing this. It's super unfair. We shouldn't be doing this. But I'm not scared of it at all. I know we will kill this man. He will be dead. And I will laugh in the Kohberger's face when he gets a retrial and we kill this man, because they see the digital forensics that I've seen and they map him, and they identify that he's in the car, and there's no doubt about it, and it hits this house, and goes right past this camera, and
I will laugh in the Kohberger's face when he does get a new trial and we kill him. Well, Steve, the only way that's going to happen is if the new trial and whatever prosecutor gets assigned the case decides to even attach the death penalty. There's no guarantee that a new prosecutor is going to reattach the death penalty to this case. That's not guaranteed. You seem really confident, though, that you're going to kill Mr. Kohberger. It's very interesting. It's not the first time you've made that threat.
And this phone's on, and he's doing turn-by-turn directions. I know how toast this guy is, so I would love for these guys to get what they think they want and then just live with their decisions.
Well, it's one of the things that I've said a lot about this, about Brian Kohberger's defense team. It just seemed like everything that he's asked for hasn't really worked out in his favor. Whether that was changing of the judge, locations, waiving the speedy trial, all those things. I think that it would have worked much better in his benefit had he gone to trial in Moscow.
Daniel, my God. This is why I don't watch your channel, because you lack discernment. You lack critical thinking skills, sir. The reason that the trial got moved, it's not like his defense team, it was a strategy to get the trial moved. It was proven that this guy that you have on right here, Mr. Goncalves, tampered with the potential jury pool so much that there was no other choice than to move it to a different court in a different county. Because it was proven. It was proven to judge. Okay? It was proven to the first judge that it needed to be moved because the potential jury pool in Moscow, in Utah County, had been tainted so much that there was no way a fair trial could ever happen in Latah County. So it wasn't just like the defense team, used some sort of fucking sorcery here to get the case moved. That's not how it happened at all. But, you can continue to present it like that. The fact is, it was proven. It was proven that the potential jury pool in Latah County was so unbelievably biased. There was no way they could seat a jury and him get a fair trial. Okay? Just wanted to point that out.
Much quicker, but everything that he has asked for has worked out negatively for him, and I think this one would as well. I for one, is also not afraid that if he were to get a new trial, I think it would result, in him getting the death penalty. I doubt it's going to get there. Any concerns on your part that it actually might?
Daniel, he will only get the death penalty if the new prosecutor attaches it. There is no guarantee that the new prosecutor is going to attach the death penalty should a new trial occur.
Might go to trial?
The highest I've ever heard an expert tell me is 3%. 3%. And that's actually done with some kind of legal AI that goes through all the cases. Some argue a mass murderer has never been able to use this strategy, but there's some cases that are pending right now, so it's kind of hard to say. So the average is 1%, but I've heard as high as 3%, so I'll say 2% chance that this strategy works. And I hope I'm wrong on that, just because I don't want to put the other families through that, even though it's something that I would love to see. I'm built for war. I'm built for this type of stuff. I think we need leaders in our courtroom, and we don't have any anymore. 90% of our...
Is he built for war, just like he said Hippler was built for this case, and then he backtracked on that as well? He's built for war, just like Hippler was built for this case, huh? But then you backtracked on that, and you got a lot of shit talking to do about Hippler, too, huh? You trash talk Hippler, too. So that's interesting. You thought Hippler was built for this case, but... you also think you're built for war, so that's interesting.
Our cases are settled out of our courtrooms. It's hard because you make one little mistake and the people feel that you throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. And that's a hard argument. So we basically forced our country into a situation where we're going to get 90% of our major violent crimes being settled without our input. And I think that's a shame. And it's unfortunate.
Steve, almost 50% of homicides in this country go unsolved. So what the fuck are you talking about? We forced the country. Da-da-da-da-da. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. It's word salad, sir. What you're saying doesn't even make any sense. Currently, close to 50%, if not more, of homicides in this country are unsolved. Unsolved. Even with all of your linergies and backdooring of linergies that you guys like to do so much. you still can't solve 50% of homicides. Fucking interesting.
Fortunate, but I'm only a dad. There's only so much I can do. I'm focused on this case. I'm focused on other cases that we're going to be involved in with our charity work. So I'm a passionate kind of person, but
please, for the love of God, do not employ this man to help you in your case. Do not go to his charity to help you with your case. Please don't. I implore you. There are many other people you can go to, and it doesn't have to be him. Just saying, you don't have to go through their charity to get help in your case, okay? This man doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He literally calls it liturgies. Liturgies. Family liturgies. You cannot rely on him. Please don't. Please don't give his foundation any money. Please do not ask him to help you with your case. If you know it's good for you, you've been forewarned.
But you got to know get in where you fit in, right? I don't fit in all those different avenues. I'm going to let the courts be the courts, and I'm just going to be one of those dads that is the worst victim that you could ever ask for.
Yeah, and that's all you can do. You're your daughter's advocate and the one that speaks the loudest for her. And so you got to do what you got to do. And if it does go down that direction, I'll be in your corner backing you up, my man. And so with what Brian Kohberger is saying, I think he's kind of bringing in what was his name, Brent Turvey, I think is a defense expert. He's using a lot of what he has put out there in his book called The Broken Plea as part of the evidence that he's trying to utilize to get a new trial.
Daniel. Oh, geez. It's clear you didn't do any research before you did this interview, huh? Because Brent Turvey doesn't have a book called The Broken Plea. So I don't know where the fuck you got that from, but that is not Dr. Turvey's book, okay? But if you're interested in reading any of Dr. Turvey's books, he has over 180 publications that are relied upon by numerous higher learning facilities across the globe, from the US to Colombia to the UAE. Multiple colleges and higher learning universities across the globe rely on Dr. Turvey's publications to teach students in the criminal justice field, especially those pursuing anything to do with crime scene reconstruction, femicide, solving homicide, mass murder cases, serial rapists, things like that. Okay. So I don't know, Daniel, I think you probably should have done a little bit of research, but Dr. Turvey does not have a book called The Broken Plea. Just want to make that clear. Just thought I'd put that out there.
I've read some of it, so it had something to do with hair and Ethan's hand. When I went through the documents, it said it was his own hair. So I'm not seeing anything there that there's a leg to stand on. But from what I understand, Turvey's also kind of maybe taking some shots at you guys. How do you feel about him? And anything you want to say?
When you say Turvey, I think the forensic gigolo. That's what I think. The guy who takes money to make your crime scene whatever you want it to be. He literally brags about taking tens of thousands of dollars and going into a crime scene and reenacting it, acting it, and making it what you need it to be. Do you need two perpetrators?
No, Steve. He takes tens of thousands of dollars to reconstruct crime scenes based on the evidence. Because he's the actual expert at doing that, and you're not. You sound jealous. You sound big mad, not gonna lie. You sound big mad that Dr. Turvey didn't go along with your narrative. Didn't go along with your narrative of Maddie's the target, this is how it happened, they were killed in their beds, etc., etc. They were killed in their sleep. No, they weren't. And Dr. Turvey is like, actually, based on the evidence here and the reconstruction of the crime scene, Maddie wasn't the target at all. It was Caleb. So that's interesting. But yeah, he takes tens of thousands of dollars because he's the actual expert and he reconstructs crime scenes. He doesn't reenact them. That's what ISP Detective Gilbertson did with his timed runs. Running around the house, stabbing the fucking air and counting. Okay? That's a reenactment of the crime scene. Reconstructing a crime scene is not the same as reenactment.
Do you need a different weapon? Do you need multiple weapons? That's what this guy does. He walks into a crime scene with preconceived ideas that have been delivered with thousands of dollars. And then he goes...
He walks into a crime scene with absolutely no preconceived ideas, no bias, no nothing. He doesn't even want to talk to the defendant. He doesn't want to talk to anyone before he goes into a crime scene. You should have done your research, sir, on what Turvey actually does. He's made it abundantly clear he doesn't care about what people say happened. It's not about what people say happened. That's not what he goes by. So you're wrong about that, because that's just not how he operates. It's not how he reconstructs a crime scene. He doesn't go in with a preconceived notion or a bias. He has worked many, many times for the prosecutor. He has been hired by the prosecution in many cases. Many. Hundreds. So, no, he doesn't just take the money and the defense tells him, hey, make the crime scene look like this. That's just not how it works. You're fucking lying about that and you know it.
Goes in there and he finds them. So, yeah, Turvey's a joke. I wish I could tell everybody what I know and what he's facing. And he should be really, really careful talking like he's me. I can talk all day long. I'm not the one being investigated. I'm not the one with information that I signed a contract to protect. They didn't give me anything. Everything I got, I earned.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that when Steve says he's not under investigation, he probably is, but that's just my opinion. I'm of the firm belief and opinion Steve is under investigation and or being monitored and has been for a long time. But that's just my opinion.
I paid for investigators. I had a private investigator. I did my things. Everything I got on my own. That man was given things.
Oh, so everything he got on his own, huh? He paid investigators? Did you pay those investigators to just back your narrative? Like you're saying Dr. Turvey does? How do we know that the investigator and the PI that you paid, you didn't just pay them to say what you wanted them to say? How do we know that? Also, where's that evidence? Did you ever turn it over to the state? Was it produced in discovery? Did the defense have it? All this evidence you claim to have? Where the fuck is it?
Things, and those things have found their ways in different places, and they're all coming back. And he should be listening to his lawyer. His lawyer's got to be telling him. Probably shouldn't be doing interviews anymore.
Well, one of the weird things, isn't it? And
Turvey doesn't have a lawyer. If he had a lawyer, he wouldn't be doing any interviews. I don't know what makes you think he has a lawyer. He's fine. Dr. Turvey is just fine. He's allowed to do interviews. He's allowed to speak on what he did in this case. I know it's hard for you to understand, Steve. I know you think the First Amendment only applies to you, but it doesn't. Pretty sure if Dr. Turvey had an attorney, he would be doing absolutely zero interviews. And the interview that he just did was with a prosecutor. Okay? With a prosecutor. Former prosecutor, if I remember correctly. I don't know if she still is, but the lady who has the Crime and Justice channel there. She's either current prosecutor or former prosecutor. So it's not like he went and did an interview with a defense attorney. He went on with a prosecutor who he knows is going to push back. Unlike you here, going on to Drunk Chicken, who won't push back on anything that you say. You'll only talk to people who won't push back on anything that you say. It's very interesting.
one of the things that has come up is the Dateline, who leaked all the information. And I think a lot of people were looking in one direction, whether it was the prosecution or somebody, related to one of the victims, a family member or such. But then you hear what Turvey is saying and some of the claims that he's putting out there, I find odd and interesting because there's some things that he shouldn't know. I mean, you have the person that creates or the recreates the crime scene, and then you have the digital aspect of it. And sometimes those worlds don't intercept. However, he seems to have information that's outside of his expertise, so to speak. In fact, even Ann Taylor has said that he's speaking out of his expertise. I don't know, are you catching the dot that I'm connecting here of potential where this leak might be coming from?
I'll further it. So why does a crime scene expert have letters that BK wrote to his dog? How do you correlate a crime scene with letters to a dog?
Steve, you're confusing Dr. Turvey with Chris Whitcomb. The two are not the same. Dr. Turvey didn't write a book. Dr. Turvey doesn't have a book called The Broken Plea. And the letter between Brian and his fucking dog is something Chris Whitcomb put in the book, not Dr. Turvey. Right? So I don't know where he gets this shit. This is what I mean. Like, this is what I'm saying. I watched this interview and I was like, bro, this dude is so unhinged and so bass backwards. It's not even funny. It's like they didn't. The book, Broken Plea, was not written by Dr. Brent Turvey. Okay? I don't know where he gets this shit from. And the letter that Brian wrote to his dog, where's your evidence that that came from Brent Turvey? Where's your proof? Because you make a lot of claims, but you have nothing to back it. At least Dr. Turvey is willing to back everything he's saying with the actual evidence that he had to use to reconstruct the crime scene. If Ann Taylor would just let it all come out, if the judge would just unseal everything, Dr. Turvey would be able to show us precisely what he's talking about. The photos, the videos, the 3D modeling, all of it. But they want to keep everything sealed.
At his house back in Pennsylvania. So yeah, you're onto something, and everybody's onto something, and everybody's reverse engineering back to this individual. Time is limited. There's an investigation going on. I was contacted today. I'm going to tell you that man's high on a list. I'm not on that list. I can sit here and smile my ass off. That man is looking at sanctions.
Something tells me Steve is on the list. I don't know who called him to say, you're not on the list. Don't worry, you're not under investigation. Something tells me he's on the list.
He's looking at never, ever entering a court again. Or he can. I've asked these questions. He can, but they can also bring up what has happened to this court order and how a violation could have occurred. And if he's actually the one that they go after, that'll be used ever all throughout his career. He'll never recover from it. So I hope him and his book buddy make enough money so that's his career, because he may be looking at some retraining. Maybe he goes back to the university. I heard he used to be in the university and harassed a bunch of young, cute girls. So maybe he should go back there. Maybe that's why he really feels aligned with BK. Like,
interesting. So now he's accusing Dr. Brent Turvey of being a predator. Maybe he should just go back to the university where he was harassing young girls. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Produce your proof, Steve. Okay? Instead of just flying off at the mouth and accusing everybody of everything, right? You sound like you're projecting. Just saying. It sounds like a lot of projection. But you do realize that accusing Dr. Brent Turvey of somehow being a predator, harasser of women with no proof to back it up. I mean, technically, if Dr. Turvey really wanted to go balls to the wall, he could sue you. Slander, defamation. Just saying. So maybe it's you who should be careful with what you say. Maybe it's actually you who should be very, very, very careful of what you accuse people of. Just saying.
Yeah, they had this thing where girls complained about him back when he was in the university, kind of drove him out of there and got him into the courtroom. He might feel very similar to what BK went through.
Yeah. Another person that identifies with him. It's insane. But
So really the only reason that Dr. Brent Turvey here, according to Steve and fucking Drunk Chicken, the only reason that Dr. Turvey is saying, hey, listen, the evidence that I have from this crime scene and what I reconstructed of the crime scene, basically the only reason that Dr. Turvey has come to any of the conclusions that he's come to is because, well, he identifies with Kohberger as a predator. Right? That's the only reason that Dr. Turvey's doing any of this, because he identifies and sympathizes with Kohberger, the predator. Because Dr. Turvey is also a predator. Fucking wild. Holy shit, Dr. Turvey. If you happen to hear this, you probably never will, but if you do, sir, and you appreciate my snark, slap this motherfucker with a cease and desist already or something, okay? Hit him with a little defamation lawsuit or something, sir, because this is absolutely wild. Accusing you of harassing women at the college, and basically the only reason you're doing any of this is because you sympathize with Dr. Kohberger. Yes, and I said it, Dr. Kohberger, because that's exactly where he's going. I'm telling you. I don't know why. I said it before and I'll say it again. I did a whole live on it. The humiliation ritual of Dr. Brian Kohberger. And something tells me when this is all said and done, that's exactly what he's going to be, is Dr. Brian Kohberger. But it's wild that this man is going to sit here and say that Brent Turvey is a harasser of women, and he sympathizes and identifies with Kohberger because Kohberger was also a harasser of women, stalker, predator, etc. Fucking wild.
I think it's also a money ploy for him. And that's my opinion. You know, he putting out the book, etc., and him going after yourself and your family. I think he's pandering towards a certain group of individuals that.
Imagine being able to build an app with.
Let's mute that. We're not giving him any of the.
Feel a certain way about Brian.
Isn't it interesting that Daniel is still sitting here saying, oh yeah, it's just a money ploy from Dr. Turvey to make money off the book. To make money from the book. It's not Dr. Turvey's book. What the fuck? Just like Steve called Dr. Turvey a fucking retard, Daniel, you sound like a fucking retard, okay? You sound retarded, all right? Just saying. It's not Dr. Turvey's book. It's Chris Whitcomb's book. For the love of God. Get your facts straight.
Kohberger. In fact, I saw some weird, articles about these love-struck women and men sending him videos and pictures of themselves and things of that nature. It's insane what is going on out there. It's absolutely sick. And so, another defense expert.
Love-struck women sending videos and photos of themselves to who? Dr. Turvey? Oh my God, this is comedy, man. This is actual comedy. That's hysterical. Daniel sounds jealous. Maybe Daniel's jealous that women and girls don't send them their videos and photos, huh? I guess. I don't know. Holy shit. Dr. Turvey, you one badass motherfucker if you can get these ladies to send you some videos and maybe some little photos of their tattoos and whatever. I'm just going to say you're a badass motherfucker, but it's just my opinion.
That you had spoken to recently, Cy Ray, he's brought up a couple of interesting things, including one thing that Brian Kohberger may have been, in fact, in the house a week, before the murders had occurred. In talking with him, how much have you learned from Cy Ray?
Me and Cy Ray have a lot of shared background. So.
Me and Cy Ray have a lot of shared background. No, you don't. No, you don't. You fucking wish you had a shared background with Cy Ray. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You're delusional. Literally graduate, magna cum laude graduate of Delulu University. You do not have a shared background with Cy Ray. Stop it. Stop it, Steve. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. We have a shared background. My God. Let's keep it going. Oh my God.
We've talked a little bit, but I don't want to talk on his behalf because it's just not fair, especially when you talk about digital and forensic. It's even when I'm sitting next to a coworker that I absolutely love. I mean, my coworkers I love to death, but they'll be like, Steve's got his own language. Marcus has got his own language. Corey, we all speak. We understand our nuances, but that to ask a stranger to speak for you. But what I'm trying to say here is how I understand some of the things that he's diagnosed is there's 2 other phones in that house that have the exact same AT&T footprint. So when it echoes out, there's 2 phones in there that look exactly like BK's. So when he sees his phone connect with the house, he's already seeing that same signal, that same phone, that same program in the house moving around. So you're looking at 6 months of data. You see these houses, and then all of a sudden, this thing's over here and here and here and here, and then all of a sudden...
Interesting. So there's 2 phones. Is that what he just said? 2 phones. 2 AT&T phones. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I wonder what Steve knows about cloning and cloaking and, cloning devices, cloaking devices, things like that. I wonder what he knows about that. I wonder if that's the shared background. Maybe that's the shared background that he has with Mr. Ray. Two devices. Two AT&T devices. Interesting. Giving off the same information, huh? Very, very interesting. I'm going to file that one in the Rolodex in my brain for later. My eyes are rolling so far in the back of my head throughout this interview that I can see the goblin that lives in my fucking brain for real.
It matches up with these other phones, and it's in the same beeping that, if you visually looked at a map, it's at the same pinpoints as the ones that are inside the house. So that's how I would interpretate him saying that on certain times.
Interpretate? That's how he would interpretate? That's how I would interpretate what he means. Just like liturgies. That's how you would interpretate what Syre means. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Holy shit.
It could have been in that house. Now, you're not going to get the certainty of factual 100%. So, because somebody could sit and press up against the wall of the house and say, oh, I tricked you. I totally tricked you. Or I got up on the roof. I tricked you. I was never in the house. So you can't say it with certainty. And I think that's what Thompson was trying to do with Santa Claus, the clueless boomer.
Look at him stealing our shit, calling him Santa Claus, huh? That's what we call him. Santa Claus. That's how you know he never gets off the internet, bro. He never gets off the internet. He lives his life in the YouTube fucking crime sphere, okay? That's how you know he never gets off the damn internet. Santa Claus. The fuck out of here. Stop acting like you're one of us and stealing our stuff. Intellectual property theft. How dare you?
Has no place talking about technology. I think he was trying to say, I can't put him in the house, but he could have said it in a different way, in a different fashion. I mean, he went out of his way to say some things that are just flat out wrong, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt on certain things. Like the sexual motivation, people looked at his phone, 100% believe he was sexually motivated. Any of you Kohbergers that think, this is what I got to respect about Ann. Ann put out enough.
Any of you Kohbergers who have the audacity to question anything this man says, how dare you? You fucking Kohbergers, how dare you exercise critical thinking and ask questions? How dare you not just believe him wholeheartedly, no matter what he says, no matter how stupid he fucking sounds, no matter how ridiculous what comes out of his mouth is, you should just, how dare you fucking Kohberger?
Breadcrumbs or seeds to get people to ingest her narrative and then live it, you know? So she was like, well, he's a criminologist. Of course he's got creepy, weird internet traffic, but she didn't want to go to court and for you guys to hear that his creepy internet was plastic surgery, women being ripped open and their breasts being pulled apart and gelatin stuck into them. That's not criminal CIS, Ted Bundy. You guys all think you know what he was searching? No, this...
Criminal CIS? What? Criminal C... Do you mean CSI? Do you mean CSI? Interpretate, liturgies, CIS. Oh my god. Meanwhile, he has a similar background as Syre.
Guy was a sicko. He was literally watching women being cut open and split apart in a procedure. That's what this man was getting off on, and that's who you're protecting.
Okay, prove it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Steve. If all that shit is on Brian's phone, if Brian had a history of watching women being cut open and their fake tits being pulled out of them and whatever, prove it. Just show it. Your investigators did all the work for you, right? Your PI gathered all this evidence, so how come you didn't produce any of it for this interview? How come you didn't give any of it to Daniel? How come you haven't given any of it to Hannity or Brian Enton? How is it that you can just roam around doing your media tour and not produce a single stitch of evidence that you claim that you have? Meanwhile, you don't want anyone to ask questions or ask you to produce that evidence. Just produce it. Produce it. Drop it online or something. Go ahead and put it in a Google Drive for all of us to see. All this evidence that you claim that you have, put it in a fucking Google Drive. According to you, you're untouchable, right? You can do whatever you want because you're just a civilian, right? You're not bound by anything. You didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement with anybody. So put the evidence in a Google Drive. That way the entirety of the public can access it. Free will. Do it. I fucking triple dog dare you to put everything that you claim in an easily accessible Google Drive for all of us to see. I bet you won't, though. Bet you won't.
You women that are protecting this guy, good luck, because you're going to date one. You're going to date one of these guys because you can't wake up.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, Steve. I don't date. I never have to worry about dating any guys, actually, because I don't date anybody. So no, I won't date one. I won't date anybody. Joke's on you, haha.
I can't disagree with you there. There's the stuff that was on his phone, that what I've heard, and that one's news to me. I wasn't aware that there was that in there, but that is.
Also, what women are protecting Kohberger? Last I checked, he's in solitary confinement in a fucking penitentiary. What women are protecting him? Are you talking about like Ann Taylor, Elisa Masseth, Becca Barlow? Is that who you're talking about? The women who are married? They're not protecting him. They're his fucking attorneys. It's like this man doesn't understand the Constitution. It's like he doesn't actually understand how this works. He thinks you should just be able to accuse someone of something, not show the proof for it, trust me, bro, and then kill the person. That's literally what he thinks. It's fucking insane.
It's even worse. That's just the criminologist saying, oh, well, if you looked at my phone because I'm a true crimer, I would look like I'm guilty. Dumb fuck. Yeah. They don't care about that shit. What they care about is knives, ripping through flesh.
Dumb fuck. I want to know what's on your phone. Can we get the timing advance records for Steve, please? Can we get the timing advance records for Steve? Can we get his phone data? I'd like to know what's in his search history. I'd like to know what he's been looking up. I'd like to know, since he talks about, BTA and this is this. You're the one who's all of a sudden an expert in this shit, Steve. So the only way for you to be an expert in that, got to be on your phone or your computer. You had to have been looking into it too. It's got to be on your phone, maybe your computer, maybe your devices have some shit on there that shouldn't be there. Just saying. Just saying.
Like you did. And that's what he had. And if you have that, you're not a criminologist, a true crimer. You're a freaking weirdo.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to his Reddit stuff. His Reddit stuff was...
Yeah, guys, you're a freaking weirdo if you look into homicide cases. If you look into high-profile murder cases. You're a weirdo. Didn't you know that? But it's okay for him to do it. This hypocrite motherfucker here. It's okay for him to do it. He's all of a sudden a liturgy expert, a CIS expert, all that, right? It's okay for him to do it. He's allowed to do it. Just not you, because if you do it, you're a fucking weirdo.
So apparently he used the guise that he was doing it for DeSales and he was doing it for his thesis. However, the post was taken down several times after he graduated and moved away from Pennsylvania. He was still arguing and fighting to have the survey up. And so it had nothing to do with his current thesis anymore. He had already graduated. And so these things were all for self-gratification when it came to Brian Kohberger. Whether it was talking with other criminals that had, filled out his survey and or, what he was looking at online. I think it's pretty clear.
That what you're talking about. That's why this individual called our family and said, hey, I was one of the people he kept calling back to. They investigated that deeply because there was a couple of people that came forward and said, yeah, it was like a recruiting tool. He was using.
It's really interesting. They're talking about the Reddit survey, considering there's only one victim in this entire case who had a warrant for their Reddit. And it just so happens to be his own daughter. Just pointing out an actual fact here. And how did Lawrence Mowry know to go for her Reddit first? How do you know that? How come nobody else had a fucking warrant for their Reddit? So it's only his kid who had a warrant for their Reddit. Interesting.
Using that post to figure out how to commit a good crime. Like he was saying, what if I throw this up, find all the people who got caught, then I interview them over and over again, then I can use that to not get caught. So, yeah, and then somebody suspected, like, this individual's like, I felt like he was getting off on my conversation, and then I hung up, and then he calls me back a couple days, and he goes, I knew at that point, because he goes straight back to the part where I was talking about her being drunk and passed out on the bed, and I'm literally taking her jewelry, going through our house, and she has no clue, and he just got off, like, tell me about that again. And he had new questions for me. Like, he had just been twisting and cranking over that whole fantasy. And he was like, this guy likes what I'm saying. He's getting off on it. So then when this guy goes and murders 4 people, he's like, I'm picking up the phone. I've talked to this guy. So, yeah, he was, yeah, like I said.
Who is that guy? Like I said, produce the proof. Put it all in a Google Drive so we can all see it. I'd love to know who this guy is that Mr. Kohberger was allegedly in contact with while he was doing this survey. I'd love to know who this guy is. Sir, if you're listening, come forward. Explain it to us. Confirm what Steve is saying here. You can just come through and confirm what Steve is saying. I do find it very interesting that everything surrounding the Reddit is very interesting. And Steve seems real fucking riled up about the Reddit. Maybe that's why they won't give her phone back either. Maybe that's why they won't give her phone back. Just a guess. Maybe because whatever's on that phone is actual evidence.
The courtroom would have been very ugly for the Kohbergers, and that's why I'm all for it. Because other than child molestation, this was going to be so dirty and ugly that they would have all been like taking down their videos and being like, I'm done with this guy. I'm done defending him, because these internet searches, these videos that they want to throw up here where they're blurring stuff, nah, that's not criminology. That's really weird stuff.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and we've talked about this before too. This guy, in my opinion, had this plan that he wanted to commit a crime like this. I mean, he purchases the K-Barn Act before he moves away from Pennsylvania. So, he was graduating with his master's degree. He had gotten a job at WSU. He was going to be a teacher's assistant. He was going to move across country. This should have been the highest point of his life. And so,
he was literally recommended for the program by his professor back in Pennsylvania. He didn't have a plan to go to WSU. He didn't plan it. He was literally recommended for the program. I'm telling you. This is why I don't watch the Drunk Chicken Show, right? Just saying. This is precisely why I don't watch this guy's show. And I'm sad that I even have to give him the click and the view right now for this fucking interview, to be honest with you. I didn't even want to have to give him the click, the view, the ad revenue of even going through this video. This is why I don't watch this fucking guy.
Possible excuse that his world was crumbling around him, that he was losing his job, etc. I don't think that fits his narrative. He was also trying to get with the whole Reddit stuff even after his thesis. So to me, this guy wanted to commit this crime, and maybe perhaps he attempted to commit this crime in Pennsylvania before he went across country and just wasn't able to do so. But isn't it true that you believe that he had other victims in mind, per se? He had pictures of other students, and maybe perhaps his route also coincided with where they resided?
Yeah, when I had a private investigator, we contacted one of the universities. I won't throw it out there just because I don't want anyone in the media to go and make these people feel like they got something to.
I went and contacted one of the universities, but I'm not going to tell you which one because I don't want the media to go and try to talk to them, because I don't want anybody to go debunk my bullshit. That's why he's not going to, right? Oh, so it was you. So it was you the whole time, behind the scenes, bouncing around to all of these different people and places, infecting everyone with your own narrative, right? Before law enforcement could even get to them, before law enforcement could even conduct an investigation, you're in the background having your PI fucking bippity-bopping around. Interesting. So your PI contacted one of these universities. Oh, but you don't want to say which one, huh? Because you're afraid that many of us will get in touch with them to be like, is it true? Is it true you gave this information? Also, that would be a fucking FERPA violation if I remember correctly. But what do I know? What do I know, right? Just saying.
Hi, but this university that he went to, so pick one of them, it is there. A girl came up and said she felt like he was following her, just like in WSU, where the people said he's following me around, he's going to my car. So then they basically tell my investigator, we were kind of like, because they're basically being honest, she wasn't that cute. So we're like, okay, we'll see. So then they start looking at it, and they're like, he was following her. And they said, well, let's just follow him. Forget her.
Listen to that shit.
And then they start seeing he's following other girls. And also,
Did you hear that shit? His investigator took one look at this girl that said Brian was allegedly following her around, and what Steve and his investigator thought was, well, I mean, she ain't that cute. She she isn't that cute, so let's hold off on this one and see. Holy shit, guy. Oh my God. Hysterical. Hysterical. Sweetheart, if you're listening, if you happen to catch this, Steve G and his private investigator thought you were fugly as fuck. And there's no way Kohberger was following you around. They thought you were full of shit. Interesting.
Eventually follow him. He jumps up in this hillside, gets up in a tree, and is staring at some yoga class. And then they start looking at it, and he likes to follow patterns. And he was going at this certain time where he knew the class was, he knew the girls that were in there, and he was literally going up in the, and I'm saying he went in the tree. It's kind of the way that the investigator described it to me, but
just produce it. Produce this evidence he was climbing trees to stare at yoga class. How do you know he wasn't climbing a tree to rescue a cat? How do you know he wasn't climbing a tree just produce it. Put it in a Google Drive. Where are the videos? Where are the videos of Mr. Kohberger climbing a tree to stare at a yoga class? Where are the videos? You must have them. Your investigator must have them. This university that you speak of that this occurred at, you think there aren't cameras plastered all over the fucking campus? Cough it up. Cough up your evidence that your investigators and your PI allegedly gathered showing Mr. Kohberger climbing fucking trees on a college campus. For the love.
He was in this hillside industry staring into this window and watching these girls. So, yeah, he's had everywhere this guy's gone, he's been fired for misbehaving.
Brandy J, thank you so much. Yes, spooky season fund. Hell yeah. Thanks, girl. We're going shopping this weekend, honey. I'm going to do a live, too, for Home Goods, TJ Maxx. We're going to go see all of the spooky stuff we can find. Thanks, everybody, for being here, by the way. Truly appreciate you. Really do. Thank you, Jazz King. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, everyone. I saw somebody else send a super sticker earlier, and I tried to highlight it, and I couldn't. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here.
Around women. So sometimes you just got to call it what it is. I mean, he's in his 30s. He's still behaving this way, and it's...
He's into his 30s and still behaving this way. What the fuck are you talking about? He was 28 when he was arrested. He's in his 30s now. In jail. What do you mean? Still doing the same thing, still having the same behavior. He's been in fucking jail since the beginning of 2023. What are you talking about? He has literally been in jail for almost 4 fucking years. What the fuck are you talking about? He was 28 when he was arrested. Never mind this, he's in his 30s and he's still doing the same thing. How is he doing that from fucking prison?
Really sad that we don't listen to girls when they, or I'll say ladies, when they say, hey, this guy's not normal, and then there's enough people, because anybody can have an awkward day that they're just half asleep and they say something makes somebody uncomfortable. But when it's repeated over and over and over, you get up to 13 times, it's beyond ridiculous. And it's just sad that...
13. These motherfuckers love their numerology. They really do. It couldn't have been 12, couldn't have been 14. Has to be 13 times, right? 13. Goddamn fucking cultists.
We still live in a society that doesn't believe that these things are happening. And men need to just grab guys like BK and beat the hell out of them, you know? If I was in that criminology class, I would have dragged this guy out, or I would have caught him in the hallway, pressed him against the wall, put my arm up in his throat, and said, you keep doing that in the classroom, and we're gonna handle you, bro.
See, another prime example. Steve believes violence is the answer. Steve believes violence is the answer to everything, because that's what he would do. That's what he would do. He would get violent. And he just said that. Not me, not my words. That's what he would have done. He would have grabbed him, shoved his arm up in his fucking throat, beat the fucking shit out of him. Because Steve's mentality is, well, violence is the answer. Interesting.
We're going to handle you. Don't ever talk to so-and-so. Because I had girls in the classroom. I played college football. We didn't let that shit happen. You didn't punk and humiliate and degrade girls in our classroom. We didn't do that. We weren't raised like that. So whoever was in this class, it's sad that maybe they did and it never got reported. So I should take that approach. Maybe it did get, somebody went and talked to him, but it's sad that more people didn't take it serious all the way through his career, from high school, probably middle school. We don't know that, but from high school all the way through, this individual, I heard in that police academy if he would have been an employee at that point in his career, he would have been fired. But because he was a student, they couldn't fire him. And that's the only reason they couldn't remove him from campus.
I dare you to let me build.
We got another ad. No, thanks. I don't need you to build me shit. Thanks.
I'm not sure if we lost Steve or me. Are you there?
I'm there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so sorry about that. It paused for just a second. Yeah, going back to when he was kicked out of the law enforcement class, is that what you're referring to, when he had to spend the rest of the high school year at, I think in the HVAC class, and then his senior year, he ended up having to do it online? Is that...
Yeah, and the sad part is what I found out was that kind of set up what happened in my family. Mm-hmm. So he was in this criminal, he had these visions of grandeur. He's kind of like Turby. He went into everything he did and thought that he was going to be the smartest person in the room, and he was going to take over whatever he put his mind towards.
Steve, you're projecting again. You're the one who thinks you're the smartest guy in the room. With all your liturgy background and CIS background, and, you have the similar background as Cy Ray. You think you're the smartest guy in the room. You're projecting. You're projecting. Do you actually, are you sure you don't know Mr. Kohberger? Because you seem to act like you know him really well, to be honest with you. Are we sure you don't know Mr. Kohberger? Because it seems like you do. Just questions. Again, as always, friends, never listen to me. I don't know shit. I'm just asking questions, okay? Are we sure Mr. Goncalves here doesn't know Mr. Kohberger? Just wondering.
He had that delusional, even though he wrote on the internet, kind of delusional. I'm kind of like, put myself in the center. Like, that's a good thing about sports. When you play sports, you think you're the stud quarterback, you think you're the linebacker, but you get out there and somebody smashes.
Yeah, we get it. You think you're a stud. You think you're the shit. You think you're the smartest guy in the room. We know. We can tell. That's why we're reviewing this interview right now, Steve. We all see the absolute narcissist that you actually are. And you know what? Anybody who sees this, if you don't like it that I'm saying this, literally, I don't care. I don't care. It's called free speech. It's the First Amendment to the Constitution. If you don't know what it is, you should go fucking study it, okay? I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm going to express it. If you don't like it, click off.
You a couple times and you're like, okay, I'm not that guy, but I got a place on the team. I can play. I can do my thing. These guys that never play sports, they have these delusions. So he had these delusions, and they kicked him out of that because of the creepiness he did, some of the spying that he was doing on the girls. And they put him in his dad's class. They put him in HVAC, and that lit a fire under his ass that he said, they think I'm this person reported to me. He basically wrote and told his friends, and this is an author, they think I'm as dumb as my dad. They think I'm an idiot. They don't realize how smart I am. They're kicking me out. And it lit a fuse, and that's what started his match.
Produce the proof. Put it in a Google Drive so that we can all see what you're talking about. Produce it. Literally, Steve, I implore you. I'm begging you. Maybe we need to crowdfund tens of thousands of dollars to pay you to do it. Put it all of your evidence in a Google Drive that we can all access. All of this that your investigators collected, that apparently, you have evidence that the state claims they don't even fucking have. You have evidence that the state claims doesn't even fucking exist. So, produce it. That way we can all see it. That way we can all understand where you're coming from, because you just sound insane. Just saying. You literally sound unhinged and like you're terrified of what's coming down the pike. You sound like you're afraid your spell work backfired. You sound like you're afraid the boomerang is coming back on you. It's just my opinion. That's what you sound like.
Master's degree, and he was like, at that point, he was just a druggy loser, and he started like really putting himself in a mission towards being a criminologist, and that's how he crossed into our life. If he didn't get kicked out of that police academy, that's where he just would have been a bad cop.
Yeah.
And that's the thing we were trying to say. Like, some people think.
Does he not know that we can access the yearbook photo of Brian doing push-ups in the Ranger Cadet program? Does he not know that we can access that? It's just public. We can access the goddamn yearbook. Senior year. There is a photo of Mr. Kohberger doing push-ups alongside other people in the Ranger Cadet program. So what the fuck is he talking about? I just want to see this guy's evidence. That's all. I just want to see his evidence and his proof because he sounds crazy. I don't know where he's getting this shit.
Think that how could you expect WSU or anybody to read his mind? We're not saying that. What we're trying to say is Pennsylvania got it right. He was a danger to those girls, and they removed him from those girls. And now those girls are well, and they're having babies and families. They're all good.
RV, keep it rolling. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you. Thanks so much for your super sticker, honey. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. You're right. I do deserve this. I deserve your money, friends, for having to listen to this bullshit. Okay? I'm gonna have a fucking migraine by the end of this. I had one the other day when I watched it. This dude gives me a migraine. But we gotta review it. We gotta review it, and I gotta give you my brain worms, or else I sit, and go on about my life with it in there, and this is how I get it out so that I can just continue and move on, and forget about it. Forget about it. I gotta get all my brain worms out. Okay? But thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Unfortunately for us, they never removed the danger, and now we have 4 people dead. Yeah. So they didn't read his mind back.
Steve doesn't want us making money off of this, so you know what? Make him suck it up. Give me your money, motherfuckers, right? He doesn't want us profiting? Go ahead, kick it in, just to piss him off, just to spite this motherfucker. Give me all your money.
Back then, but they removed the danger. They removed him from that, and those girls are safe and sound, and that's the best thing you can do. So when people think, oh, how do they expect anyone to know that Ryan was a murderer or killer? No, you don't do that. I don't look at my coworkers and think that guy's a wife beater, but I might say, you can't be around her no more. This guy's got to be separated. He cannot be in the same room with no one else around. We got to get him out of here. He cannot control himself around her. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about to other men. When you see it, say something, do something, and I wish that would have been done because my daughter would still be here in the world today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing something, and I'm saying something, Steve, about you. I gotta be honest with you. You give me a vibe like I would never allow you around my children. That's just the vibe I get from you, sir. You would never be allowed around my child. Or my dogs. So, I can agree with you. When you see something, say something, or when you have a feeling about somebody, don't ignore it. I agree with that. And I gotta tell you, Lana knows better than anybody else how I feel about you. You're definitely someone who would never be allowed around my daughters. And that's just the vibes. That's just vibes. You know what I mean? It's your vibe. And that's my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, I feel for you, my man. And you're absolutely right. There was enough warning signs that was happening at WSU. For them to have wanted to terminate him within that one semester, there was the signs. In fact, when you have a professor saying that this guy is going to be a predator in the future, you probably need to start following those red flags and doing something about it. Not to mention, once something does happen and, November 13th happens, and then you have this guy who's a problem at your school, and you don't put the pieces together to figure that out, that this guy who's having issues, and especially when the bolo comes out that you're looking for a white Elantra, I just couldn't fathom how how WSU just dropped the ball multiple times there, which, like I mentioned, I'm suspicious that the fact that terminating him, same.
I wonder, speaking of, say something, say something, blah, blah, comes women, I saw someone, being abusive to their wife and blah, blah, blah. With all due respect, aren't you the same guy that literally abandoned your daughter? Right? Aren't you the same guy that has nothing to do with Samantha? Your actual child, your biological child, right? Wasn't it you and your family fucking with her and making it so that she lost custody of her kid? Right? If I remember correctly. So, I love it that he tries to sit here on his high horse like he's some amazing father and he's so protective and he's so this and he's so that. Meanwhile, he has a biological child that he has nothing to do with, that he abandoned, okay, and a grandchild from that biological daughter, right? She has a kid. That would make that kid his grandchild. He has nothing to do with them, correct? So I love it that he sits here on his high fucking horse like he's some, It's wild to me. It's just wild to me. You literally abandoned your own biological child. So let's stop pretending here that you're some holier than thou, alpha male, okay? Stop. Just stop. If you want to be alpha, Steve, you should probably not abandon your own children. Just saying. Alphas don't abandon their own children.
At Moscow Police Department found out who Brian Kohberger was.
I think we all are. And where there's smoke, there's fire, right? We're not idiots. Some people are pretty slow at picking up facts, but I think for the most part, a lot of people understand that something doesn't sit right with the fact that he gets fired the same day that he's named by the FBI. The FBI are probably the best of the best when it comes to investigations, so they name him and then...
Fired the same day he's named by the FBI? Really? You sure about that? Are you so sure about that, Steve? Fired the same day that he's named by the FBI, because according to Brett Payne's testimony, the tip came in December 19th from the FBI, from Mr. Kohberger. The date of his firing, the letter, is December 30th or 31st, something like that. So what do you mean? Interesting. Fired the same day he's named by the FBI. You don't find that to be a strange coincidence, huh? How would the university know? Did the FBI contact them? Was it you? Since you and all your investigators are running around in the background anyway, right? Doing all this, bippity boppity booing all over the place. Who contacted WSU? Because it wasn't the fucking FBI. Was it you? Just wondering. Just questions.
And then all of a sudden, this university, that's the moment they feel that he's crossed the line and he's not even there.
Yeah.
He's halfway across the country. It's like, what happened that day? Well, the facts tell us we know exactly what happened that day. So, yeah, and unfortunately, it's still happening today. There's girls and even other people, maybe smaller kids that are getting bullied and treated badly like that. And we just got to do better. We have to, when we see something, we got to stand up. If you raise your children that way, Kaylee wouldn't have put up with bullies like that. Maddie would have got up in his face. I'm telling you right now, Maddie had zero fear. She would get into a guy's face and tell him, get out of here. Don't talk to my friend like that. She was very strong.
I bet Maddie did get up in your face, didn't she? I mean, guys' faces in general. You seem to know. You seem to know for sure. Maddie didn't take no shit from nobody. I bet she didn't. I bet she didn't take your fucking shit, and I bet neither did Kaylee. But that's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
When it came to, she was a quieter girl, but when it came to somebody being bully or punking someone, she was the first one to jump up and get in there and be like, get out of here. So it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we lost some really amazing people. But out of that came this, and we're working with the charity, Murder Has a Name, and we're going to help other families figure out how to hunt criminals, how to hunt who killed your children. I'm trying to...
Oh my God. Now he's the hunter. Now he's the hunter who's going to help other families hunt killers and whatever. Oh my God. I don't think I'm going to make it through this whole interview, guys. I really don't. What do we got left? We're only at 41 minutes. For the love of God, it's 2 hours and 19 minutes. There's no way I'm going to make 2 hours of this guy unless I put it at 2 fucking speed, which I know will make all of you insane. Okay? But now Steve is a hunter. Now he's a professional killer hunter, right? He's a professional. He's going to hunt killers, and he's going to help families hunt killers with this Murder Has a Name Foundation that utilizes IgG. Even though, according to DOJ policy and law, IgG is specifically reserved for cold cases as a last option. It's not your first. It's never supposed to be your first option. It's supposed to be your very last, and only when the case has gone cold.
A hunting course. I'm literally going to teach you how to go through your evidence, work with your investigator. Your investigator's already there. He's
going to teach you how to go there. He's going to teach you how to go through your evidence and figure out he's going to teach you. No, thanks. No, thank you. That's not a class I want to take. No, thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. I don't need this man to teach me anything. I don't know about anybody else, but this is the very last person on the planet that I would want to be taught, air quote, taught anything from. He's going to teach you, though. He's going to teach you how to go through your evidence. Okay.
He got these nuggets there. Call him back up. Say you got some funding. Tell him, let's reopen this case and let's figure out if we can do some IgG. You know, hair back in the day was just, oh, is it the right color? Is it the right freaking texture? Those days are over. No, we can figure out way more information. So these guys that are doing these crimes, at times a number, I talked about this a little bit, and it's a hard subject to talk about because I don't want to dismiss anybody who's gone through rape and didn't get justice, because there's more women out there who have gone through a rape and didn't get justice than I could ever understand. But going forward, rapes have dramatically dropped. They're the fastest category of dropping. In some places, in a lot of cities, they're dropping over 90% because people understand that the fluid exchange is pretty much a guarantee you're not going to get away with it. So pre-planned murders are almost gone. There's going to be those ones where you guys get the picture, where a guy just gets out of control, but it starts off as one thing and turns into another. There's still going to be those. But unsolved rapes are very, very rare now. And I think, and I hope.
No, they aren't. Hold, please. Let's just ask. Let's just take a little peeky poo. Hold, please, friends. Okay, so I don't know what he's talking about. That unsolved rapes are very, very rare. I don't know what he's talking about. But anywhere from 65 to 80% of them are never reported to over yourself. The fact of the matter is 65 to 80% of rapes are never even reported to the police, i.e. unsolved. Okay? So I don't know where the hell he gets this stuff. I really don't. But let's keep reading. For every 100 rapes reported to the police, only about 13 to 18 of them lead to an arrest. So, I don't know what he means. Unsolved is very, very rare. That would be incorrect. Unsolved and cleared cases. Police clear roughly 30 to 37% of reported rape cases, meaning an arrest is made or the case is closed by exceptional means, leaving the majority of even reported cases officially unsolved by law enforcement. So, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I really don't. I just did a simple Google search with an AI overview here. We're not going too in-depth into it, but the fact of the matter is that for every 100 rapes that are reported to the police, there's only 13 to 18 of them that actually lead to an arrest. And then when it comes to unsolved and cleared cases, it's 30 to 37% of reported rape cases, meaning when an arrest is made, the case is closed by exceptional means, leaving the majority of even the reported cases officially unsolved by law enforcement. So I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. He makes no sense.
With the true crime community, we can get this message out that the same thing's going to happen to murder investigations. We're going to get to the point where you're going to drop a piece of hair, you're going to sneeze and leave some DNA, you're going to do something wrong, and it's not worth it. Go talk to a doctor. Go figure out what your vice is. I mean, like this individual, he had vices up the you-know-what. And he just went from heroin to dieting to boxing. Oh, yeah, I got to fix the boxing, too. Somebody wrote me a long email. I did misspoke on a boxing thing. He was an amateur boxer. I meant to say three-minute rounds, and I said 1 3-minute round. Mm-hmm. So he had 162 punches. And
for clarification, I attended the Pennsylvania subpoena hearing. I was there in person. I have no idea where Steve is saying that Brian was an amateur boxer unless he knows of somewhere else Mr. Kohberger was boxing. But I attended the hearing in Pennsylvania where the defense subpoenaed a bunch of people. And Jesse Harris was the person who owned the boxing gym in Pennsylvania, okay, that Mr. Kohberger used to attend. Jesse Harris made it abundantly clear under oath on the stand that Mr. Kohberger only attended his facility for the purposes of socialization and never threw a punch. Ever. So I don't know if Steve is talking about some other place in his adult life that Mr. Kohberger was boxing. I don't know if Steve is talking about the underground fucking fight club going on in Idaho. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Fight club? Shark Tank? I don't fucking know. Okay? But according to Jesse Harris, the owner of the boxing gym, Mr. Kohberger never threw a punch. So I don't know what he means by an amateur boxer. Because according to the guy that owned the boxing gym, that's completely untrue. Kohberger was not a fighter. He never threw a punch. He never got in the ring with anybody. He was there by his dad brought him there to socialize with other kids. That's it. That's it. He never got in the ring. And that's straight out of the horse's mouth, the guy who owned the boxing gym. So Steve must be talking about somewhere else. He might, but you know, because he won't produce any of his evidence, because he won't produce anything his investigators found, we just have to guess. We just have to guess and take his fucking word, I guess. You know what I mean? By all accounts, Kohberger was not an amateur boxer. I don't know where he's getting this shit from.
Amateur fight of 3 minute rounds. So I'll fix that. I try to always fix whenever I misspoke or misspeak because this one I could ask you to edit probably. I don't know, but that's how it is. I don't know if it's 100% live or if it's delayed. I just sign up. I don't like have it listen like here you go. Tell me, you know, these are the terms.
I wonder if he's talking about Idaho Underground Fight Club. That's what I really wonder if he's talking about. Is that why Mr. Kohberger was over in Moscow so much? Are we sure Mr. Kohberger wasn't part of the fight club they had going on? We've all seen the videos. We all know they're doing it. It's not even a secret anymore. We all know they're doing it. Maybe that's what Steve is talking about. Now we got to start digging. Now we got to see if we can find Kohberger in any of these Underground Fight Club videos. Maybe he's in there, huh? Maybe he's in there. Fucking all of a sudden he's Rocky Balboa too, you know? Not only is he John Wick and Jason Bourne, he's fucking Rocky Balboa too, guys. Holy shit.
In which I speak with you. I'm like this who's this? What the heck's this loser's name again? Turvey. First time, I've never said the man's name. You want to say my name, Turvey? Let's have it, Turvey. Come get in my face. See what happens. So
now Turvey's a loser. Yeah, go get in his face, Turvey. See what happens. He's violent AF. He'll fucking attack you. He'll throw you up against the wall and slam his fucking elbow into your throat, just like he would Mr. Kohberger, right? Come on, Dr. Turvey, you know, come on, let's go toe-to-toe. Couple of 3-minute rounds with Mr. G here. You know what I mean? That's what he wants. He wants Underground Fight Club with Turvey. Turvey would smoke this motherfucker. Just my opinion.
But Turvey, I've never made a penny off an interview ever. I do it for my daughter. Unlike you piece of shit. I don't charge tens of thousands of dollars for anything. Except for my job.
Oh, see, that's what I mean. So so not only is Dr. Turvey a piece of shit, right? Because he's a paid expert for prosecution and defense when it comes to mass murder cases, femicide cases, human trafficking cases, serial rape cases. He's a paid expert, right? But even Steve just said he gets paid tens of thousands of dollars for his job. If that's the case, Steve, why were you and your family begging the internet to pay for your Airbnb to get to a fucking trial? If you make tens of thousands of dollars from your work and you have a similar background as IRA, why are you begging the damn internet to pay for all of your travel expenses when it comes to attending hearings and trial and Airbnbs and food and, you know, room and board and all this shit? Why does your son and his wife need the internet to buy their wedding gifts? All right? If you make tens of thousands of dollars, that's what you can charge for your job. But Turvey's a piece of shit, huh? Turvey's a piece of shit. So you make tens of thousands of dollars for your job, but you're begging the internet to help pay off the rover And to cover your room and board? Get the fuck out of here.
And I don't need to vulture around dead bodies and murder victims and people who've been raped to scrape up some money and be the gigolo forensic. Who?
Oh my God. So Dr. Turvey vultures around dead bodies. Not because he's an actual paid expert, not because multiple universities around the globe rely on his publications and his texts to teach students in the criminal justice field. It's just because he's a vulture. It's just because he's a forensic gigolo, didn't you know? Didn't you know he's not an expert? He's just a forensic gigolo. Steve knows all about fucking gigolos, I'm sure.
Who tells you I can make that forensic be whatever you need that crime to be? I will make that crime scene look like whatever you need. That's who you are, bro. That's why you're an investigation. That's why they're coming after you, not me. I'm way bold. I say all kinds of crazy things. I say things that people drive them nuts. But I'm not like you. I'm not crossing that line. I'm not doing illegal things.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all, man.
Ooh, Turvey got under his skin. I love it. Not gonna lie, I love it. Because Brent Turvey is a badass motherfucker, right? And, you know, if it took Turvey talking to get him this riled up, ooh, you know Turvey is on target. Turvey is so on target. That's why he's over here kissing Cyray's ass. Notice he isn't threatening Cyray. Because Cyray's towing the same fucking narrative that Steve's out here throwing around, right? And I love Cyray. He's my favorite spook of all spooks. You guys know that, right? I fucking love Cyray. I don't give a shit. I really don't care that Cyray, you know, thought Brian was guilty even before he came on and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. He's entitled to his opinion, you know? And he's my favorite spook, you know? Of all the spooks, Cyray is my favorite spook. But you know Turvey must be right, like bullseye on target to get Steve this riled up to the point that he's like, come on, come to my face, so I can fuck you up. You know what I mean? He's literally like challenging Turvey. He wants to challenge him to an amateur boxing match, I think.
I'm just defending my daughter, and I'm doing it for free. So we issued out a challenge to that loser. He'll just ignore it. So don't speak on my name, bro, unless you really... We can handle it.
Turvey never said your name, by the way. You're just mad because Turvey called it out that you're running around doing your media tour profiting off the death of your daughter. I don't think he ever said your name, though, if I remember correctly. He never actually specifically said your name. He just made a comment about CrimeCon and how you're using the death of these kids to profit, which he's correct. You've actually made the most out of everybody, besides Ann Taylor.
We can handle it.
Yeah, I thought his statements were pretty childish. You know, the fact that he said that, you know, you guys speak at Comic-Con. I mean, Comic-Con it's for victims' family members to speak up. And
Oh my God, Comic-Con. Comic-Con. Oh my God, it's Crime-Con. Holy shit. Crime-Con, Daniel. You really are a drunk chicken, huh? You gotta lay off that alcohol, buddy. It's not Comic-Con. It's Crime-Con. Say it with me, Daniel. Crime-Con.
and talk. I mean, there's been so many, and not, you know, in this case and in other cases where family members advocate for their family.
Okay, listen, hold please, friends, for 1 minute. I have some shredded beef going for shredded beef tacos tonight, and I need to go check on it and make sure nothing is burning. So please hold 1 second, please, okay? You know, don't run away. Chat amongst yourselves in the chat. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Hold, please. All right. We're back. So sorry, friends. So sorry. I am like literally slow braising some beef for shredded beef tacos tonight, and I had to go check on it and make sure nothing was getting burnt. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not using a crock pot, honey. I'm actually slow braising in the oven today. Meanie, so good to see you. Beckles, hello. Everybody, I should say hi before we get back to this. Sakura Smiles, hello. Yvonne Poole, Kane B. What up, Kane B? Good to see you, homie. Born to be Wild. Who else am I missing? Jilly Bean. Hello. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Michelle Davis, hello. Liz Berry, so good to see you. Germala? Germala? I don't know how to say that name, but welcome on in. I know I've seen you around before. I just don't know how to say your name. So welcome on in, everybody. Welcome in. Thanks for hanging out. So there's like, what, 150 of you here? So, thanks for being here. Thumbs it up, thumbs it down. Follow your heart, not your frown. Let's get back into this.
I think it's outrageous to attack somebody who lost a family member in the manner that you guys.
I get for him because he's a cuck. He's somebody who sits in line and raises his hand and says, "Can I speak now? Can I please speak?"
Brent Turvey's a cuck, huh? A cuck? Is that what he said? He's a cuck? Oh my God. Turvey, you All right, I think I'm back. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, guys. So sorry. So very, very sorry. I don't know what the hell happened. I think I booted myself from my own stream or something. Not the first time. Not the first time. It actually happens all the time around here. So if you're new here, just get used to it. I boot myself from my own stream sometime, okay? But like I was saying, we should definitely try to make it happen where Steve and Dr. Turvey get to go head to head. I've been asking for Steve to link his CV. He can use my comment section on my community tab to link his CV, okay? So that we can compare and contrast his educational background with Dr. Turvey's. I would like to see Steve's publications that are relied upon by universities around the globe. I would love to know which, let's see, which model, I guess you could say, when it comes to solving crimes, which model did he develop that is relied upon by the FBI and the government for solving crimes? I know Dr. Turvey developed the behavioral evidence analysis model that is relied upon by the FBI and multiple governments around the globe and law enforcement agencies. So, you know, I'm willing to give Steve the platform to show us all his background, his certifications, his publications, link his CV, so that, you know, we can understand a little bit better here. We can understand a little bit better how his background is somehow more extensive than Dr. Turvey's. But you know, what do I know, friends? I don't know shit. I'm just saying. I would give him the platform. I would literally he could have my, there you go, it's yours. I even told him, link it. All you got to do is link it. Put it all in a Google Drive or something for us to see, you know, and link it everywhere so that we can all see. But something tells me that he likes to overstate. He likes to overstate his knowledge and his skill set. But that's just my opinion. And something tells me that Mr. Goncalves really likes to overstate himself. I think he's the one with these delusions of grandeur here, thinking he's the smartest person in the room. He knows more than everybody, including the experts. Unless you're an expert that kisses his ass, then he's cool with you, right? But if you're an expert that maybe has something to say that goes against the narrative that he's been touting for the last almost 4 years, well, then he's going to have a problem with you. He wants to box you. He'll be aggressive towards you. He'll threaten you. He'll defame you. He'll slander you. That's just what it sounds like, in my opinion. These are just my opinions. As always, never listen to me. These are just my opinions, which I'm entitled to under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Free speech, bitch.
For us to be quiet and shut up and not do anything. But for me, this is who I am. Not making any money. You didn't offer me any money. Nobody offers us any money. We're not. I think he's looking for a document.
Nobody offers you money because you begged for it through your GoFundMes and shit. They don't even have to offer it to you. People don't have to offer you money because for the last fucking 3+ years, you guys have just been begging people to donate to your fucking foundations and shit. Right? So that's why people aren't offering you money, because they can, anybody who's rationally thinking is going to look back over the last almost 4 years and they're going to see that you've raked in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Between the GoFundMes, the getting help to pay off the rover, all the donations that you needed to go to trial. Did you ever return any of that money considering there wasn't a trial? Did you ever return any of it? Since there wasn't a trial. Because I know that's, you know, that's what you asked for it for. You guys literally begged people for money to put you up, room and board, pay for your gas and shit to get back and forth, you know, from hearings. So I guess that's the thing I don't understand. What do you mean? Nobody's paying you. Nobody's offering you money. Why should they? You make tens of thousands of dollars that you charge for your job. And you've made money hand over fist since the crime happened. So, just saying, just throwing that out there. I wouldn't offer you any money either, because you're not an expert. I wouldn't pay you for shit, but that's just my opinion.
Documentary? What are you talking about, dude? What documentary? This guy's so full of shit. And if you never would have spoken my name, I never would have spoken his name. And I'm going to come for you, bro. And guess what? You're not going to get a video here. If we would be sitting here and just ripping, you probably would not have a career anymore. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure Olivia is going to end Dr. Turvey's career. Talk about fucking delusions. Olivia. Get the fuck out of here. Olivia. I would have brought Olivia on here, you know. You'd be lucky if you have a career. Bro, I'd debate Olivia. I would absolutely debate her one-on-one, no problem. I'm not even scared. Ain't nobody scared, Steve. Ain't nobody scared. You and your kid. I know you and Olivia are used to just going around fucking threatening people to get whatever you want in life. But, you know, that shit don't work. It's not going to work on everybody. It might work on all these little fucking idiots out in Moscow, Idaho. You may have been able to run around Moscow, Idaho threatening people and they were scared of you. I get it. People out there are scared of you. That shit don't work everywhere. That's wild. I can't even believe he just said that. He's going to have Olivia. Oh, you're lucky I didn't bring Olivia on here. You know, you'd be lucky if you even have a career. You actually think your daughter can somehow upend Dr. Turvey's entire 30-year career? Is that actually what you think? Because that sounds like delusions of grandeur, in my opinion. That's just what it sounds like. These delusions of grandeur that you claim everybody else has, it sounds like that's exactly what you have, Steve. Just my opinion. I can't believe you actually think Olivia would somehow upend Dr. Turvey's career. You're literally insane, sir, respectfully.
Hey, that's how good Olivia is. Don't let me send Olivia on you because it will be bad, dude. She's already sending things saying, you said...
Wasn't Olivia... Thank you. I just happened to peek over at my chat, Liz. Thank you. Your daughter, this is the same Olivia that was arrested for domestic violence, right? In Coeur d'Alene? Not that long ago. What, like a year and a half ago? Is this the same Olivia we're talking about? The one who runs around fucking bullying everybody? Beating people up and shit? Putting hands on people? Is that the same Olivia we're talking about, Steve? That's who you're gonna sick on Dr. Turvey, huh? Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Kaylee's room was where the murder happened. That's how pathetic you are. Your little boss with your little... You said it was in Kaylee's room and she was the target. You're clueless, bro. Your work is sloppy. I can't believe they paid you money. You should never be in a courtroom again. And I hope they sanction you. And you never are.
Dr. Turvey wasn't in a courtroom for this case, Steve. He wasn't in a courtroom for this case because it never went to trial. Oh, but it will. Oh, but it will. And that's what you're so afraid of, aren't you? It's exactly why you're so unhinged, huh? You're just so upset that Kohberger might actually get a trial this time around, and you are fucking shitting your pants on what he's gonna say. That's just my opinion. I think you're terrified of what Mr. Kohberger has to say.
When you're looking at that kind of expert, that's probably an assessment to what kind of defense he had. Which is when you have to lean on somebody like that. What I mean is, you probably don't have much information. Like I said, I think he knew it, and which is why he pled guilty. And he wants to take it back now because he's not getting the right living conditions or whatever he thought he was going to get. And he's a work, he's a piece of crap.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. Man, I mean, that man, he spoke my name first. I never said one thing about him. I don't try to push other people's work. I just try to focus on the kids.
Dr. Turvey never said your name. But it's interesting that when Dr. Turvey made a comment about certain family members going around profiting off the deaths of the kids, you immediately thought he was talking about you. Interesting. Sometimes you just got to give people the rope, you know what I mean? They'll eventually hang themselves with it.
In the case, I don't name drop. I don't do that. But if you're going to bring my name up, here it comes. Here it comes, baby.
And what are some of the things that he's claiming? He claimed that there was hair in Ethan's hand, which the documents say that's not the case, that it's Ethan's hair. I think he mentioned that there was...
He'd like to change because he's so late to the game. He's so pathetic. He'll listen to like Lana, some of these other people that correct him. So now he's saying he's on the bed bunk or next to the bed. He's trying to focus. But first he was saying he reached up and ripped it out of his head. But that sells books, right? He said that at first. Now he's like, well, it's not in his hand. It's next to the bed, on part of the bedpost or whatever he's saying. Like,
no, Steve, you should actually just listen to what he's saying without getting so emotionally unhinged when you hear it. He's saying that there's hair, long about 30 strands of hair, on the bed frame and in Ethan's hand. And the problem is that it wasn't tested. It wasn't identified. They just looked at it and said, morphologically, it looks similar to Ethan, the hair that's in his hand. But the fact that it wasn't tested is why it's problematic, because you cannot scientifically accurately claim anything about any piece of evidence when it was never tested. That's the problem. Okay? I know that's difficult for you to understand. I know that you lack a fundamental grasp of what Dr. Turvey's really getting at here. The problem is how not only the evidence was collected, but whether or not it was actually tested, identified, and can be scientifically backed. Factually. That's the problem. I know that's hard for you to understand because you're so emotionally fucking unhinged. That's what he meant. The hair is in two spots, not just Ethan's hand, also on the bed frame, two different hairs. The hairs on the bed frame are long. We can see them in the crime scene photos. The ones in Ethan's hand are approximately 6 to 8 inches, and it's about 20 to 30 strands of hair. That basically all they did was a visual confirmation of whose hair it could possibly be, right? Possibly and probably are not scientific facts. That's the problem.
And there's a chunk of hair there. Listen, I have to be that explain it to you. And I hate to do this. And I hope any parent that's part of this case turn this off right now. He's wielding a knife to their heads. Chunks of hair and flesh are ripping off their skulls. Hair's everywhere. It's everywhere. And for you guys to be manipulated, not understand that there's chunks of hair with blood.
So I agree with you, Steve. The perpetrator is slamming the knife repeatedly into people's heads. I agree with you. 100%. We know that based on the wound patterns. So how come none of the hair from the two upstairs is anywhere in the room with Ethan and Xana? Why is there no transfer from one victim to the next? Right? Because I agree with you. Fact of the matter is, the perpetrator and or perpetrators who are stabbing people in the head, and there are chunks of flesh and hair and matter going everywhere, how come they're not transferring from victim to victim if it's only one perpetrator? Right? I hate to be the one to tell you, Steve. I hate to be the one to tell you. One knife, one perpetrator. You should definitely have hair from the two upstairs. Also with the two downstairs. There should be blood from the two upstairs with the two downstairs. There's only one weapon, one perpetrator. But you know there's more than one weapon, don't you, Steve? Don't you?
Blood on it, and they're not going to process it? No shit. No shit. They know exactly where it came because you go plug it right back in. And that goes for both crime scenes. So don't get manipulated by a loser writing a book. And that's the only reason I'm saying.
Don't get manipulated by a loser writing a book, like Chris Whitcomb, because it ain't Dr. Turvey. Dr. Turvey didn't write a book. It's interesting, though, he talks about two crime scenes. Interesting. He knows all about two crime scenes, two weapons, how people were stabbed, where they were stabbed. Really interesting.
Saying this, I would never say this. I would have taken this to the grave. But this loser trying to make money off you and manipulate you guys, and you run around like clowns, saying Ethan had a chunk of hair with some photos. We could change the whole case. We're gonna change the whole case. You guys are idiots, man, and you get manipulated. And that's what really frustrates me. Is you're getting so manipulated that I'm like.
I feel like I'm being manipulated right now just listening to him. I feel like I'm being emotionally gaslit, manipulated. I feel like I'm literally dealing with a goddamn trickster spirit at this point. It's fucking Loki. I feel like I'm dealing with Loki, literally. It's like, just even watching this, I feel like I'm being mind controlled watching this, like being dead ass. It's like the trickster spirit is here. Loki has entered the fucking chat.
You know what? Maybe I just gotta come out, give the nitty gritty, the hardcore stuff, the stuff I can't say on TV. And that's why I chose yours. And that's why we're here. That's why we're saying it. It's very clear. That hair has nothing to do with him. And the fact that kindergarten retard wrote it in there like that, good luck. Good luck, because that...
Kindergarten retard. Oh my God, Dr. Turvey, please. If you're going to do what I think you're going to do, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let that fucking lawsuit come rolling out, buddy. Although Dr. Turvey is a lot more class than this guy right here, than Loki, right? Dr. Turvey definitely is a lot more class than this fucking trickster spirit that we're watching on the screen here. Dr. Turvey probably feels bad for this guy because he did lose a daughter and because he's worked so many homicide cases and femicide cases and, he's an actual expert. His textbooks are actually relied upon by multiple universities around the globe to teach students. Not gonna lie. After listening to this shit, holy shit, Dr. Turvey, fucking get him. Wouldn't even be mad at you.
Enough. If they never said it was your hair, bro, how is that going to be a big enough game changer to overturn your conviction? You're not even pointing to something that is meaningful to change the outcome of the case. You have to point to new evidence.
He seems real worried about that hair in Ethan's hand and it being tested. He seems real worried about it. And he knows, too, they got to get new evidence. They got to get new evidence. Well, new evidence would be all of the evidence that was never tested for identification purposes, i.e., blood on the back of the sheath, DNA on the back of the sheath. Sorry, not blood, DNA. Male DNA anywhere on the sheath. Male DNA anywhere on the knife that isn't Kohberger's. Hair that's unidentified that didn't match Kohberger. He seems real worried about this fucking hair, not gonna lie.
That is so radical that if it went to court, you would have been found innocent. The fact that somebody's hair wasn't tested has zero. That's an alternative suspect. That's all that is. That doesn't change your reality. That doesn't change your...
Steve, it's not an alternative suspect. It could be an accomplice. And if you want true justice so bad, it's very interesting that you wouldn't want all parties involved charged accordingly. How do you know the hair in the hand doesn't belong to an accomplice? You just assume alternate suspect, huh? Interesting. Telling you. The fucking magician here. Loki, okay? He's just stirring that cauldron, getting that cauldron stirred. Being the fucking magician he is. Causing illusions left and right, bro.
DNA on the sheath with multiple touch points on it. He is so done and did the best job she could have possibly done. She was saving it. You guys don't even know. His alibi was not going to even be allowed in court. He was not going to be able to even tell people that he was out driving and looking at stars and he wanted to go away. That was all going to... The jury never would have heard that because he could never, ever provide an alibi.
No, he couldn't. And, the only one I think he said was that he was at the Wildlife Park, which I thought was interesting because Joyce LePage, that's where her body was found, and she's been often rumored to be the first victim of Ted Bundy. And when they looked at Brian Kohberger's phone, it was riddled with Ted Bundy, it was riddled with Patrick Bateman from American.
It was on his mind.
Exactly.
That's why. It was on his mind. And remember, when he chases her down the steps, and she goes and she does that thing, and that's what Dylan reports, and then Bethany hears the table get hit, and cups bounce off the floor. Now you have two different sources. So all the conspiracy theories, follow me out. You got somebody downstairs, somebody on the middle floor, both saying that here's something coming down the stairs, the table, a bane. That's probably the table. She says, I follow hearing cups. Those are red, what are they called? What is it? Solo cups. Those make a weird sound. If you've been in a college town, you kind of know that sound. It bounces off there, there's water flinging all over the place. So they use that. That's double calibration of double people giving the same witnessing. So then he comes down and he chases her in there. At that moment in time, in his mind, 911 is being called. Because he realizes there's somebody else in that house. And once he realizes there's somebody in that house, he has to make a rational decision. Do I go into that room and kill her? And what if there's more in there? What if there's more in there? I know 911 was called when I chased her down there.
What does he mean he realized someone else was in the house? Bro, did you forget that Dylan said she looked right at him? That he looked right at her, the perpetrator? Did you forget that, Steve? If it's Kohberger in the house, Kohberger knew somebody else was there because he fucking looked right at her and didn't touch her. Just kept walking. Interesting. This guy's wild.
There, because I've been in here fighting for 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever amount of time. He went after Ethan and went after Dan, and Dan fought her little ass off. Literally, her butt in blood on the floor. She fought her ass off. And that happens. He's thinking to himself, 911's already been called. If I go in there, I'm going to be in the house when they show up.
911's already been called. But Steve, we know that... I'm just going to let him hang himself with this rope, okay?
So he just walks off, heads to the car. We all see that car taking off at high speed, and then it heads. If you know that town, most ways back to Pullman take you past the police department, which he's thinking is sending cops back his direction. He doesn't want to be blazing one direction as cops go past another. They might have cameras on their cars filming. So they basically make a rash decision, head south, which is the safest direction he thinks he can go. Because going east is going to get him closer to home. So he's got to go south. He could possibly go north, but he goes south, and then he starts doing his path. He gets lost. He's trying, and if you look, there's only so many opportunities that'll take it to the west side, and he needs a road that takes him straight to the west. He's going straight south. He needs something that goes across the west. Look, and you can count him. He's just numbered, and eventually he pulls off one of those, makes a decision, turns on his phone, and boom, he's done. They can now map him from turning on his phone in Idaho to the house at 421 or 420 leaving. They can now say, should he leave this location and be at this location? Does it work? Does the math work with the roads and the options? And it's 100% match. Furthermore, when he goes back, they nail him on the way back. It was over. It was done. He was really toted. And I just wish.
Steve, respectfully, you sound roasted and fucking toasted, bro. Not even gonna lie. You just sound insane. Because some of the stuff you're saying is not even what is claimed. It's not even what is claimed by the experts who did the CSLI work in this case. Some of the stuff you're saying is not even what they're saying. So, you're the one who sounds a little roasty toasty, buddy. You sure you weren't drinking a little with the drunk chicken here before you guys started this stream?
Wish Thompson would have had the courage to make case law, do all of America a favor. We're going to spend $8,000. Let's make some law. Let's shoot some holes in this guy. Tell everybody in the world you come here to Idaho and you kill our kids, you're going to end up and die. Like Texas. Texas is pretty badass. They don't play. I guarantee you there's men that are predators that think to themselves, I ain't going to Texas. I ain't going to Florida. Those places, those don't play. And here in Idaho, we have some work to do. But I'm not quitting. I'm not a quitter. Most of the people here did an amazing job, did a lot of hard work. We got 90% of it right, maybe even more than that. It's just the courtrooms, and I can't control those.
You know, and so with the timeline of Brian Kohberger leaving at a high rate of speed outside, heading south and getting lost, I agree with you. I felt that he felt that somebody was aware of his presence and that 911 had been called. I think Dylan reports that she screamed down a couple of times during the attack. So even if he didn't see her, he most likely heard her. And from what I understand, the house is fairly small, so somebody screaming out, I think it would have carried, especially at night. And so, yeah, I think he definitely got out of there. The direction that he went, that makes sense. I often thought about it as that he meant to. I know that he downloaded the Broadcastify just before the murders happened around, what time was it? I actually have it here. When it was, but he had downloaded Broadcastify that night. And what Broadcastify did was it would allow somebody to listen to the 911 dispatch from Whitcomb 911 that night, and which I believe both Pullman and Moscow, their emergency services go through that. So I thought that it had to do that, but the explanation of him thinking, knowing somebody's there, getting to a different direction away from law enforcement makes even more sense.
I like what you're saying because that's the exact thing. I've heard multiple people that are very intelligent that do this for a living say, so put yourself in a position there that you gave more right than me. I'll say that there's some of that we've always aligned with, but he added a little bit of nuance to it. But knowing what you're saying, if he knows once I turn this thing on, I can start hearing the cops talk, how much pressure does that put on him to want to turn that phone back on?
So he killed the cat.
So he could have turned it off for directions, but you might be more right in him being like, the minute I turn this on, I might be hearing them going to the crime scene and hearing about what's going on, all that chaos. And he turns it on. He doesn't hear the chaos. He starts slowly moving back. And then he's still listening. He's not hearing chaos. Then he goes back 9 in the morning to 9:12 because he knows there's no chaos. At that point, he knows nobody's called 911. So maybe that girl just didn't realize what was going on. Thought it was some kind of crazy prank party, whatever. And I wonder if the second trip was more, I'm looking for the sheath. I could have dropped it in that backyard. I'm going to go.
Hang on, sorry. I just saw chat. What do you mean audio's messed up? Hang on, friends. What do you mean? Time is it? 6:50 anyway, huh? Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay? Is there an echo? Sorry, guys, I don't know. There shouldn't be an echo. I think I have everything set up. I agree with you, Beckles. Yes, he's fucking obsessed. Audio, it's echoing. Kane says the audio is dope. Kane says I'm Gucci. He used to be a mod. I trust him. Yes, I agree with you, though, Beckles. He's stalking. He is stalking Kohberger. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to make it through this whole 2-hour interview anyway, okay? I just really wanted to cover as much as we could of it. And I know you guys have all seen this already. I know you've all already watched it. You know, I gotta say, the only thing that I can take from this interview, and these are just my opinions, okay? These are just my opinions, is that Steve sounds incredibly unhinged. He sounds terrified. He sounds like he knows that the fucking boomerangs he's been throwing out are all about to come back, you know? Boomerangs and backfires, baby. I think that's where this is headed, okay? And I think Loki here, this fucking trickster spirit that he is unfortunately going to have a lot to answer for, especially when it comes to the slander and the defamation towards the expert, one of the experts in this case. You know, I think that he may end up having to eat his words. I think that maybe, just maybe, he could potentially get in some trouble for this. I mean, this could be some of what he has said could be misconstrued as threatening. You know, I don't know if it would rise to the level of criminal threatening, but it definitely could be seen as threatening, slander, defamation. He's accusing Dr. Turvey of being a fucking predator, claiming that he used to be a predator on his own campus when he was teaching. Like, that's some wild ass shit. You better have something to back that. You better have some evidence. You know? And he's got his little fucking minions like that, you know, like Viv, you know, fucking. They all run around saying the same thing. Viv, Jeff, they all just repeat all of this and they regurgitate it, you know, the same fucking narrative. This bitch can't stop sharing my posts, you know. So it's really interesting to me. It's interesting to me the angle that these people are taking, right? They're doing the same thing they did the first time around, which is tainting the jury pool, potential jury pool. They're going to taint it as much as they can, using not only YouTube creators, also using the mainstream media, because they're terrified that that Mr. Kohberger is actually going to get he's going to get another bite at the apple. They're terrified. He's actually going to get another bite at the apple. And I think that they're terrified of what's actually going to come out should Mr. Kohberger be granted a new trial. That's personally what I think. I think Steve is fucking terrified. I think he's scared. I think he knows what's coming. I think he knows that there's only so long, like the secrets, right? These secrets are going to come bubbling right up to the surface. It is what it is. And you won't be able to hide from it this time. You're not going to be able to emotionally manipulate and gaslight people anymore. Because there's a lot of us who see right through this shit. For me personally, I see him as literally like Loki. He's like a literal trickster spirit. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. You know? But as always, never ever listen to me, friends. I don't know shit. I am no one. Come to your own conclusions, form your own opinions. You know, we've been live for 2.5 hours. I've got my beef going. There's no way I'm going to make it through the rest of this. I can't. I'm so very sorry, guys. I feel like I'm being emotionally manipulated right now just listening to it. I'm being gaslit. It's intentional. You know, and the only thing I could say is don't fall for it. I see right through this dude. I don't know about anybody else, but I see right through this guy. For me, he is transparent AF, right? Clear as day, in my opinion, exactly what's going on here. All he's doing is emotionally manipulating, emotionally gaslighting, and attempting to taint any jury pool that might be seated. And that's just my opinion, you know? He can't help himself either. He just can't help himself. He'll openly threaten anybody who doesn't agree with him. If you ask any questions, you're a fucking loser, Kohberger. If you even suspect he might be lying, you're a loser. He somehow is smarter than the actual experts in the case. He's more of an expert than the actual experts. And you should just trust him. He can run around and claim he has all of this evidence, doesn't have to produce any of it. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. I want him to make a Google Drive with all of the evidence that his investigators and his PI gathered, put it in a Google Drive, make it publicly available so the whole world can see exactly what you're talking about, and we won't have to sit here thinking you're nothing but a fucking lying manipulator. Know what I mean? And then you don't have to sound so unhinged and scared, because you can back everything that you're saying. It's super easy. Put it in an easily accessible Google Drive. And then run around to all of these creators that you hate so much but you can't stop watching. Run around and just drop the link for all of them. Or better yet, post it on your fucking family's Facebook page. Put the link in your bio on your family's Facebook page so that we can all see for ourselves all of the evidence. Yeah, that's all that I can say. I would say just put all of the evidence that your investigators and your PI collected and gathered into an easily accessible Google Drive. That's all you have to do, and then the rest of us can see it. And then we don't have to sit back saying, holy shit, is this guy like just gaslighting everybody? Is he just manipulating everybody? Because that's what it looks like. It looks like you're just running around gaslighting, manipulating, and yet again attempting to taint a potential jury pool. It's just what it looks like, in my opinion, But like I said, you guys know, if you're new here and you're not sure what I'm talking about, never listen to me, ever. I'm no one. I don't know shit. I don't want you to believe anything I say. I don't want you to listen to anything I say. I want you to exercise due diligence, use your own critical thinking skills, use your own brain, and come to your own conclusions. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to listen to me. I don't want you to anyway. Know what I mean? The only thing I do here is give my opinions and snark. That's it. I'm just some witch riding around on a broom, snarking the fuck out of what I hear. Okay? And that is it. Troll alert. Who's trolling, honey? Trump told me you will be deported in the next several months. Well, No problem, Agent Orange. Come and deport me. Please do so. Come deport me. I didn't know that you could deport an American citizen who has an actual birth certificate and social security card, but sure. Bring it on, Agent Orange. Come and get me. Come and get me. Know what I mean? Amy Conway, hello. Yeah, we don't care about trolls. We literally don't give a fuck about trolls. I don't think they're trolling though. I think they're talking to Steve actually. I think whoever is in the who's in the chat that you guys think is trolling, I think it's what they're saying to Steve. Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think I'll just call him Razzie. Putin's revenge. Putin's revenge. Putin's revenge. That's funny. I think they're talking to Steve, but I could be wrong. So, listen, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Thank you, everybody, for the super stickers, super chats. If you sent a little something, something to the Cash App, the Venmo, the PayPal, I appreciate it. It usually goes to the Stories Fund. I know I have not been live in a really long time. I don't know when I'll see you again. But, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I thought for sure I was going to be able to get through this 2-hour interview, but I can't. We're only about an hour in. I have a migraine. I can't stand listening to this guy. I feel like he's intentionally, emotionally, and mentally, and, he's just gaslighting everybody, manipulating everybody that he can because he wants to taint the potential jury pool. And that's just my opinion, And if you happen to catch this on the replay and you're new here and you don't like what I say and you don't like how I talk to Steve, I literally don't care. Get your stuffy, get a blanket, find a cry closet, suck your fucking thumb, have somebody put the straw in the juice box for you. You'll be fine, okay? Because Steve G runs around talking to everybody however he damn well feels like it. He runs around threatening people all the time. And I'll be damned if someone's going to tell me he can behave however he wants, but I'm not allowed to have a fucking opinion on it. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you my opinion on it, whether you like it or not, okay? So, if you don't like the way I talk to Steve, oh well. Suck it up, Buttercup. Okay? I hope you guys have a great night. I'm going to, we're having tacos, okay? It's taco night and movie night, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go enjoy my life, and I hope the rest of you do the same. This was funsies. This was funsies. I got to get out a lot of the thoughts that were in my brain and my brain worms, okay? And I appreciate you guys always letting me dump my brain worms on you, okay? Hope you guys have a great night. Happy Monday. Take care. I'm out of here. I'm done, okay? When I tell you I'm done, I'm done. I can't do the rest of this interview. Twiz is watching. What up, Twiz? Hope you're doing well, honey. Hope you guys have an awesome night, okay? Take care. See you later. Thanks for being here. Bye.